challenges, and we've risen to those at various stages. Last year we probably struggled to maintain or arrest momentum at various stages, but the guys have been pretty good at that this year.
Big fella Benny King, he's been on fire. He's right up the top of the coal, playing his 100th game tonight. How have you seen what he's doing so far?
Yeah, look, he's been terrific, and from our point of view, he's also been, great with his leadership. Like, we've got 5 teenagers down there as well with him, sort of thing, with, Walter Reed, Rogers, Humphrey, and Graham. So, look, he's probably taken a little bit less thinking about himself, more about everyone else, and lo and behold, his footy's improved as well. So he's been outstanding. 100 games tonight too, so we're really excited to play well for him.
Do you want to spot Matt Rouse somewhere beside you? I was watching him in the warm-up, first time I've seen you live this year. His body shape looks different. He looks more powerful. What's he done in the off-season? Because he looks like a different athlete.
Yeah, well, the very best do more. Like, that's why he's a superstar of the competition. And every great player I've known always goes above and beyond. What we provide is probably the bare minimum for those guys, if that makes sense. And many players invest in themselves, and it's always one of the best players in the comp. So he's been an incredible season thus far. Hopefully that continues tonight.
Good on you, Coach. Great to see you.
Can we just ask Dermy, what is he wearing? What colour is it?
Yeah, Dermy, you'll be able to hear that. He's got the maroon on. It's sort of the Ron Burgundy, isn't it? Good on you, Damien. Well, they're talking to you, Derm, questioning your suit over there. I'll whip over to see you boys. Holman is the sub for the Gold Coast, as the Tigers are coming out on the ground, and now own Ron Burgundy's there ready to go.
I've been heckled by the coach.
Trevor Barrett and Nick Dalsano. Great to see both of you, gentlemen. Now the Tigers, they've just come out. We won't talk any more about the suit. We heard Jack talking about it. Being competitive in the first half probably died away in the second half. What can they do tonight?
I thought they were pretty good in the first half last week. They did fall away to Hopper 20 of 33, Toronto 17 of 26. They all those senior players, Short, McIntosh, Nankervis, only got 30% of their total after half time. So it's on these leaders to actually hold the fight right through to the end.
Hasn't been through lack of effort. It's just the ability to sustain that pressure and that applied pressure for 4 quarters, which they haven't been able to do. They've got 12 guys tonight that have played 52 games or less. So that probably explains why they've had these drop-offs in the second half.
Just briefly, Trainer comes back in after the hip issue. Early on in his career, he's been impressive.
He has, and it has a lot of these young guys, and it's based on the expectations. So this is about flying hours. You've got to get your hands on the football. You've got to play at this level. They're up against it tonight. It's going to be a huge challenge.
Crowd continuing to come in, as I said, very warm and steamy here. Not as hot as Derb's suit, but we'll do our best to keep up with that. Up next, live football. Anthony Hudson, the best in the business, will be calling a few. Super Saturday Live. It's the Tigers and the Gold Coast Suns coming up next.
You're watching Super Saturday Live.
G'day folks and welcome back. It's game night again. Of course, the Richmond Tigers are taking on the Gold Coast Suns out there at Marvel Stadium. It's going to be an interesting match. Richmond haven't won their past 10 matches out there. I think there's 10 losses and a draw for Richmond's last 10 games. I didn't see Melbourne's win. That was insane. I wish I had been. I was out for the day, so I couldn't even get to see that game. And I think I don't even think I saw the Adelaide game over the Giants who won. But yeah, that would have been incredible win by Melbourne. I'm sure they would have been very, 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 very happy about that. Finally, let's just have a quick look at the ins and outs for both teams. Coming in, Noah Bolter. Well, he is a story in himself. I don't know why this guy is playing. This is a biggest error Richmond could make, I think, and the AFL. The AFL stamps out, of course, violence in every aspect, but, of course, Noah Bolter is up on assault charges, which he pleaded guilty for, and I can't believe this guy is playing. This is a black curse on the AFL for having this guy in. Sam Laylaw comes in also, and Samson Ryan in for the Tigers, going out. Bauer, Sonsi and Blight. The sub is Luke Trainer there for Richmond. For the Gold Coast Suns, who are looking good, they can go top of the table if they win tonight. Connor Budrick comes in. Sam Closey goes out in the sub. Nick Holman, of course. Ben King, his milestone game, celebrating his 100th game this evening for the Gold Coast Suns. Well done to him. There is the lineups there. If you want to take a moment, you can have a little bit of a look. Let me just roll that up just in case a little bit is hidden for those people watching it on their phones. There is the lineups. But that should be an interesting game tonight. Everything is set in stone. We've got Gold Coast Suns, hot favourites here tonight. I think Richmond were about $8 or $10 to win this game. So I tell you what, stranger things have happened though, folks. Gold Coast playing away. We'll see. But really, the Gold Coast Suns, they want to put on a good performance this evening against Richmond, who it's a bogey ground for Richmond. As I said, they haven't won a game in their last 10 games there, but should be very, very interesting. Just to recap the games today, can you believe that? Melbourne, who finally won their first game of the season, defeated Fremantle at the MCG 107-97. And, of course, the other game over there at Adelaide Oval. Adelaide, in a low-scoring match, 52, defeated the GWS Giants 34. I think the Giants only had around about one goal up until half-time. I can't say I've ever seen that before. But a great defensive effort there by Adelaide and a fantastic effort by Melbourne. Freo, I'll be going back to the drawing board and scratching their heads, I think. What are they going to do? I think that's one of the big issues Fremantle have had is trying to win away from home. I tell you what, if you can't win away from home, you'll never hold up the Premiership Cup because, as we all know, it's at the MCG. In Melbourne, teams have got to be able to travel. All teams have got to be able to play on the big stage there, and they'll be sadly disappointed. All right, folks, we're going to head back to some of the commentators for the final couple of minutes before we get into this exciting game. Hopefully it's exciting. Hopefully these young Richmond Tigers can get up and about and make this a great game against the in-form Gold Coast Suns. Don't forget, put your vote in who you think's going to win this evening. 50% Richmond, 50% Gold Coast so far. It should be very, very interesting. As I said, Richmond, this is the bogey ground for them. I think 2021 was the last time they tasted victory. Marvel Stadium, and the Gold Coast Suns, as I said, they are going really, really well so far this year. If I just bring up the ladder and have a little bit of a look at the ladder. At the moment, the Gold Coast Suns, they sit third on the ladder. They've only played 4 games, won all 4 with a big percentage of 168. They've got a game in hand because they're in Essendon. If all folks remember, the cyclone up there in Queensland, they couldn't play a match up there. So I'm not sure when they're going to play that, but they've got a game in hand. They're only 1 game off top of the ladder. So if they win this, they will be on top of the ladder with 1 game spare to play somewhere in the future throughout the season. Of course, their opposition is Richmond. Richmond sitting 17th on the ladder. Played 5, won 1, lost 4, low percentage of 59%. The only team below them yet to win a game is the West Coast Eagles. And, of course, Melbourne leapfrogged them today with their solitary win so far. So we are playing, folks, 4th versus 17th. I'll tell you what, it's going to be an interesting game to see how Richmond perform in this against a really good unit in the Gold Coast Suns. So it should be a great game. Let's hope Richmond can get off to a flyer and not let the Gold Coast Suns just tear them apart like some of us think it is possible. Remember, Richmond defeated Carlton. It was a surprise. Can they do it again? We'll wait and see. I'll tell you one thing though, folks, when you're looking at the ground right now, there's not many supporters in there. I'd hate to even guess how many are in there, maybe 12,000. That's about it. So very, very low attendance there this evening at Marvel Stadium when the roof's shut. And it's always good to be in Marvel Stadium watching. All right, let's get down to the ground for the opening bounce, where it's the Tigers taking on the Gold Coast Suns.
With Morris, who's actually his uncle, even though he's younger than him. And there he is with the 3-time premierships for the Tigers and a lot of the Richmond staff and ex-teammates as well. And of course, he's now coached by the man that was the leader somewhere in there for the 3 premierships. All right, big game from Marvel Stadium. Ben King against Noah Bolter, kept him to 1 goal when they met last year. Super Saturday from Marvel Stadium. It's Gold Coast against Richmond.
Nankervis to lead things off for the Tigers. Away from Humphries, Nankervis follows up his work, overruns the footy. Slick hands out by the Tigers. Now comes back to Hopper. They move around on the outer side. Goes through the hands of Banks, back to Short, comes back to Hopper. Only a middling crowd on this Easter Saturday. Very warm out there, Derm, under the roof. Very humid.
It's a sultry day in Melbourne, and it's sort of trapped the heat in here now with the roof shut.
Very much so. Hopper goes the outer side. Good fly in front. Oh, good to see him back from that hip issue, immediately having an impact. Taranto. Now the Suns get their first opportunity to come back the other way.
High contact, Richmond.
Free kick to the Tigers. Good to get sultry in early too, Derm. Well done. Especially with it.
They've only been going 53 seconds, but they just seem like they're a little bit first to the ball just in this opening minute or so. It's a good sign.
Leonard Smith to return last week from injury and played pretty well too.
Right into the pocket. If he tries to move in there, there he goes.
Goes for the prime target in Lynch. Who's got it?
One time Dow ran in there and I thought, oh no, he's gobbled up the spacer. And you might even...
And Waller was coming on the other angle,
yes,
the intersection, but he had right of way, given his credentials.
Oh yeah, he's the traffic policeman there. He'll say stay out of this intersection. Fell for Tom last week. He looked banged up last week.
Yeah, ended up getting subbed off. 5 disposals and a goal with a corky. He, of course, is a former captain of the Gold Coast Suns, so he's gone the other way.
I love him.
He enjoyed premiership success and has enjoyed kicking the first goal tonight.
Well, Derm, we're right behind that. It did not deviate. There's a little bit of feeling in this. That was initiated by Tom Lynch, who ran into Collins with his back turn just to let him know.
And now it's spreading now.
Yeah, I don't know if Tom really wants to fight at the moment. I think he's just trying to draw a free kick. And well done, umpire. Call it for the 666, otherwise it's a free kick.
Which way, Derm? Which way?
It's always nice though, Derm, after you kick the first one, you do go and give it to your opponent. But the work that he did before the kick came in was outstanding. He didn't panic, he didn't have front position, but he just waited for the right moment to really break for that lead and took a really nice strong mark. But as a forward, Derm, you like to give it to these blokes.
Classic Moons too, wasn't it? He actually had to wait till the kicker was ready.
And back in the middle we go. Witts. There is Rao. Taranto strips him to the footy, goes back by hand, short. Tries to get away from the tackle, but he's well caught by Noah Anderson.
Thank you.
Rao's got Hopper company in this stoppage. Wits in the path of Rao. Good tackle behind by Green. Now Ainsworth just tries to edge a ball forward. And that's nice. When you think between Taranto and Hopper, they're going to have their hands full with Matty Rao. But by playing him like that, they know he will draw the football. He'll be the first tap to or the first receiver at most stoppages. Great start to the year for Ben Long. He's already kicked 10 goals this season. And about a 45-degree angle to try and answer the Lynch opener. It's well, just fading into the post.
Nico Santo, did you think that Long, as you would have seen him so many times in a St Kilda Guernsey, did you think he'd be this good as a pressure forward?
No, there's no doubt that he's improved in the last couple of years at the Gold Coast Suns. He's been across the half-back line and also now half-forward.
So Bolden has his first possession, the crowd cottoning on. You heard the reaction both ways there.
Oh, it's roosted.
He has stumped it to the middle of the ground. Taranto a hand pass. Lynch again in the thick of it. McAndrew, of course, last time he was here, he left the hero after the siren. There's a tiger down in the middle of the ground. We'll get back to that in a moment. As the footy is in the hands of the Suns. Well, have a little give to the extreme right.
Young fall.
Miller tosses it up. There's 3 Tigers back there. Boston able to secure it.
That was Chauncey Fall that went down in the middle of the ground. He's now back up onto his feet.
Clash of heads with Tom Lynch, I think.
Bit of friendly fire as Gloston sends it to the city side wing. Hewlin, become a favourite of Damien Hardwick. He's playing good footy. The Tigers sweep it through Brown. Taranto, they come back to Hopper. And Short sets a task of Broad.
He's got the post to cover that.
Miller provides the shepherd, and it's a nice darting ball to Ralph Smith.
Still going with the same look as we saw last year. Hugo.
I like it, Hutto.
Yep. Down the line. Late decision to fly. Andrews made the spoil. Away from Fall. He seems to be okay.
Well, this is a style of football we've seen, particularly in the first quarter when the Tigers are fresh. It's about maintaining possession. They've had 27 disposals to the Suns' 8. It's about kick mark and keepings off.
Holding, Gold Coast. No, Rao.
Free kick to Rao, the holding.
He went to run off. He didn't know it was his free.
So by that definition, there can't have been much in it. He'll take it though.
Probably doesn't feel it.
Look at that, yes. There's plenty of Guernsey being held. Off the instep, and it was touched. So, mate, everyone around the area paid it to Nick Foster, even though the umpire didn't. Fires the pass in like a rocket to Dow. Now to McIntosh. Has to just wait for the kick until Fall was somewhat viable. He'll need a lucky bounce. He gets it. He jumps high, and the full goal. He's got his first goal in AFL footy. Well celebrated by his teammates. Dean, you watched him last week on debut. He struggled to kind of get the feel and the pace for it, but
he jumped around like the effervescent puppy dog, but he really didn't get where it was dropping.
It's going to be another free kick. It's against McAndrews. So after the goal was kicked, he's thrown spot on, Moons.
How was the gather though, Derm? The one-handed gather when he jumped up for the ball from Jonty, that was outstanding.
They've got some raps on him, haven't they? And that's sort of the first glimpse we've seen of top talent. That streak he's got in him.
Seth Campbell, who's going to take the second kick and put it through for Richmond's third goal.
It's fair to say there's a bit of feeling down here, lads.
Yes, let's go. Well, the pictures tell the story, don't they? They certainly let Daniel Rioli know all about it.
McAndrew has to be careful. He's going to give away another one in a minute.
That should have actually been a free kick. You cannot make contact like that to the throat or higher. Sam Collins is recognising the...
So that's the free kick with the sling.
It's going to happen early where they're going to try and stamp their authority on it. Tom Lynch is saying, go and call the coach.
He had that blue with Philthorpe at the end of the Adelaide game, and he's on the same angry pills, Mac Andrew. So 3 goals to 1 behind in the opening 5 minutes. The way of the Tigers and their supporters have found some voice, and Rao, he's fighting the football. Takes a bounce by hand to Miller. Now back to Witts, they go back through Rao, runs out of room. McIntosh does well, Rioli, some half-hearted boos. I'm sure the Richmond fans have really got the heart in it. They're long. Advantage paid. Run down from behind. Well, it's sort of hard to build a guy that won 3 flags for you. I'm not sure. There's also got to be a little bit of appreciation there somewhere.
Got you a couple of nice draft picks for the future as well.
I thought it was such half-hearted.
They string up the hands, down, and Ross, and Short kept on coming. So far, so good.
Tom thought he was going to get clobbered then.
He was waiting for the Collins reply, wasn't he, Dave?
Yeah, there's some history there too.
This is exciting.
Going back between Lynch and Collins.
So, Matty Rao, he's got the all-terrain tyres on. He turns a real tight circle at full tilt pace where others fall over or lose traction. He just digs in and grips.
High ball from Broad. And Curvis is somewhere in the crush. Andrew, he's going to get booed now all night. Butterick, and Rao eventually gets control of things. Jesse, heat is on. Tigers have really cranked it up. And Morris Rioli brings his A game and brings his main asset, which is that
A lot of room in front here again.
Popped it into the park, and it was well predicted back there by Butterick.
So that's twice, Anthony, that they have left a big space.
Norman might hurt himself here, Durham, against the fence.
Yeah.
Did he run into the fence then, Hutto?
Yeah, I think he did. Vince.
Oh, I think it might have been the initial contact. They've left space in front there in that pocket twice.
So there's the initial contact. Yeah, I think you might be right. It was a double banger.
So Rioli providing pressure, holding the ball, and just a bit of relief. And Rao is immediately into Nankervis. There's a nice bit of feeling in this game early.
No one on the mark. He'll take the ground.
Possession number 7, Durham, for Matt Rao.
Yeah, he's up for it. I don't think a bit of Biffo is going to upset him.
And Andrew streaks away on the outer flank. That was very wide ball
too.
Yeah, that was proper booing. That wasn't a Rioli booing. Weller trying to bring it back the other way was Tresize. Long hits it hard, and he's hit hard as well. A bit of feeling, as I said. And this time it was Bolter providing the heat.
You two have your own booometer, do you? You can tell how much oomph they're putting into it. A good takedown there by Noah Bolter. That'll loosen things in the ribcage a little.
Couple of blokes with that might have scrapped. And Curvis and Witts. Anderson shaped the kick and floated through, but Broad got on his way, and now under all sorts of pressure is Tom Brown, and he is gone in the tackle. And look at the adulation for Graham that's being rewarded.
Just froze in the headlights a little bit then.
Thought he had more space and time than he did. In defensive 50, you know there's pressure, should be pressure coming from all angles. Just a step too far. Tackle number 8 already by the Gold Coast Suns. It's been a hot start for both teams.
His head was looking straight at our direction there. Never swiveled to see if there was any danger in an approaching tackle.
6 goals, 2 in 4 games this year. He's gold in every game, including this one.
Well, just their 4th inside 50, the Gold Coast Suns. They get their first score on the board. Look down the other end of the ground to compare that term. 5 inside 50s for 3 goals straight. But this is just great pressure. This is not giving up on the plate. Chasing from behind. And sticking a good solid tackle. We sometimes see those slip over the shoulder, a bit overzealous. That's a good stick of a tackle, and did the fine work afterwards to put it through.
He's bankable for a goal each game, isn't he? You called it, Anthony. He's had one again so far, and he's opened early this evening.
7th goal of the season for Will Graham. Gold Coast Academy player.
Yeah, one of the 3 teenagers Damien Hardwick was referring to earlier when he was chatting to you.
Yep.
Howie?
Well up in the middle. Good luck to him tonight. And it's going for the Suns. Down to Noble. It's a good win. Been a handy acquisition, hasn't he? Noble alongside Raoul at half back. Required distance. Anderson measures it. And it's chopped off his target. It was Ainsworth, but Broad read it beautifully, coming back the other way.
So Tom Lynch is having a breather now, so it's Samson Ryan has to get to the base of this ball.
Big fist will come from behind, but have a look, just floating across the front of the pack. The man that was in a bit of bother earlier, Fall, kicked his opening goal. That's a good, strong pack mark.
So this is the difference between being a second stringer, somebody who's got the heat off them, and having a key target there. So Samson Ryan, you look at him, he won't get no stats whatsoever, but he stands in the middle of the pack, and the pack forms behind him, and that allows your second string, your aerial target, who's other than the number 1, to get the clean run up and jump at it.
Just kicked his first goal, looking for a second. Fall. Started nicely. Always hit it well. It just fades and almost lands on top of the goalpost. Bit of a reverse swing there, Lakes. Oh,
That's a fair roost, though. He was at the top of the goalpost from 50.
He almost cleared it, Moons.
Jeffrey bounding back into play.
And you know goal umpires love calling goals.
You've got a theory around that, haven't you, too?
Well, they prefer to call a goal if it goes over and there's a little bit of a line ball. I reckon they prefer to put 2 fingers up.
It's a few lines there as Broad kick goes into the 50. And it's Noble.
Love the theatrics.
Yep, gets across. They work it all the way out the other side, and it gets away from Newland. Tigers are able to keep it in, but then it goes out ultimately. Another throw in. What a positive start from Richmond. They haven't won a first quarter so far this year. The closest they got was last week when they kicked 4-2 to Fremantle's 4-4. But they have 3 goals to 1. Double goal will help, that's for sure. Rogers turns it straight back over to Ranto. To a 2-on-1 against Ryan, but he's done well. Now Noble's got to defend. He knew there was plenty coming, and Rioli was quite clever there in not putting the tackle on Andrew, but not enough to draw the deliberate behind.
Noble to reset. Ranto's had 6, Rouse had 7 early stages. Lynch, Fall and Campbell, the 3 opening goals before Graham replied.
Pretty good sort of forward half of the ground game here, the Tigers. They're able to hold it in.
Getting repeat entries as a result, Term. They're leaving Ben King 25 metres goal side, so if it gets through, it'll be a goal from the goal line. Anderson to the contest. Just spoilt there late was Ethan Reid. That's a sign of the modern game, Term, where they want to put the density through the front, half and through the middle of the ground. They're going to say you need to get through 18 of us. As you can see, Ben King, as Bolter works his way back now to go a 1-on-1, but there's a lot of isolation in the forward 50 for the Suns.
McIntosh out the back if it spills over.
Reid and Ryan. Reid infringed, advantage paid. Here goes McIntosh with a headband on, sends it out wide. Fall, McAndrew, will be interesting. Fall's had the early win, uses his body. McAndrew comes back, good contest. Campbell arrives, big tackle. Good to see a couple of youngsters going head-to-head.
That's a bit of a breakdown there. So that's an attacking throw. That throw-in is in a zone which is attacking for either end, either team. To have a man solely sitting at the back of the pack by himself is a little bit of a breakdown.
Steely Green was threatening, and it stays in, and suddenly he's putting the tackle on Newland. A few early concerns for Damien Hardwick. In front of the tackle count, but not on the scoreboard, the one that matters. Young Fall's gone into the goal square. About 30 metres around, being watched by McAndrew. Lynch grabbed it out. Was able to just dump the hand pass. Go any further, though, from the handball. And now it's knocked away again. So they haven't moved too far. Now at the bottom of another pack. Reid, clean tap that time, but again, it's Hopper. Moving it up, back to Ross. It was designed for McIntosh, but Miller able to thwart successfully. Newland, Feeding the handball forward to Noble. Miller powers on, having a great season. So is this man, Anderson. Second in the coaches' votes, and Long, who's also had a stellar start, as we've already discussed, the former Saint.
So Miller has King in the goal scorer now. He's trying to give a lead.
So many of their informed players involved in the build-up. Anderson chopped the kick off. Alter fumbled the mark, was able to give the handball to Hopper. So no damage done. Now Ryan in deep defence to get the Tigers out, although it doesn't look like it'll stay out for too long, although Reed got the mark.
Green, low ball, sets a task. Campbell keeps in front of himself. He might have just got the slightest of jumper pulls, and it was right in front of the umpire.
Oh, they're goal side. Swing, son, swing. They're in the pocket. Too late.
It turns now. They are lined up everywhere.
That's a classic example, Dal, of when you get the ball, even if you're 50 out, you've got to still face the direction you're going. Run backwards off the mark.
Thought we were about to see the Babe Ruth. He was going to call his shot.
Point up to the...
Well, this is you raise a good point to him, because by definition they've got a mark inside forward 50, but
they had two closer.
50, they had a couple of options closer to goal. Trezise with an opportunity for his first goal in AFL football. We've already seen Fall do it tonight. Highly touted draft pick. Trezise hits it nicely as they got the length. Collins is claiming it, trying to stop the mate's party. I think it's a goal. He thinks it's a goal. We'll have a listen.
Out, please. Out. I believe it's behind when the ball was touched. It's easy. Score review. Umpire's call is touch, one behind. Please confirm that's the case.
Did he hit the back of the knuckles on the way?
Review underway.
Sam Collins.
Scored the party, Sam.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball's been touched before crossing the back of the goal line. Decision on scoreboard.
So not a first goal. Yeah, have to wait a touch longer.
So the bulk of the playmakers are out on the commentary side for this kick in. So, they're just going to kick the numbers here.
Power to bring it back into play. In his 8th season as a Gold Coast Sun. Gives it a mighty thump.
Holding Gold Coast Wits.
Free kick to Wits. Young Walter thought he might have the free. He was trying to...
Yeah, he was right-handled as well, though.
Ainsworth misfires down the line and just off their attacker a bit here, the Suns.
Kicking at 54%. That highlights just a bit sloppy. It has been a hot start, but it's a simple kick down the line. Got to find that target.
Well, yours.
Floston. Chance for Noble to go for a mini specky. Gets the ball at ground level. Just feeds it forward by hand. Running on. Oh, McIntosh really flipped that up.
He's lost his headband in that.
Love the way he has the colour-coded home and away headband. Black for the home games and yellow for the away.
Black shorts. Brucey Dool played at home every game, that means.
I was going to say, I don't think Bruce mixed his up too much.
No, just dark blue every time.
Just don't take it off then.
Oh, bar. Humphrey trying to get in the clinches. Broad stands up in the Weller tackle. Not sure how he got rid of it. Humphrey comes again. Rao, Miller, good chain of hand pass. Back to Humphrey. Sliding ball forward. Walters there, but the fist comes late and effectively. And that's a good score by Miller coming back to the flight to not infringe. Just highlights that effort once again. The Suns coming into this game with no one contested team in the comp. As it currently stands, the Tigers have got them by 7. So it's been a great start in the contested area of the game.
So we're seeing that shot there now shows every Richmond player is in the back half of the ground. So what they want to do is get pass, and then somehow get a slingshot over the top and a Steely Green or somebody else, and Rioli, to win with pace going inside forward 50. Spilled over the line here. So they're all squeezing up in the back line, leaving an enormous space in their forward line.
Adam Uze.
Jaden Short is by himself out the back of the pack.
Witts controls the tap down to Humphrey.
Noble is not playing on him, but Noble's the opposite one on the right-hand side of your screen.
Just off this stoppage. Coming through Weller. Created enough chaos for Rao. There's a free kick. And it's going Richmond's way, so it should be where the ball is.
Yeah, further afield.
Yeah. So rather than Floston,
Stay clear, stay clear.
Oh, gee, he's not very close to the man he's chasing.
it's Brown who does give it to Floston, who he was awake to the situation. Goes for Samson Ryan, but he can't take the mark, and Butterick sets them afloat. Long hand pass forward to Rogers from Rioli, so they've got the half forward. Now off the left boot. Miller's at the back of all this. Bouncing off Reed's chest, he'll be frustrated with that. You can see him whacking his hands together in disappointment.
How good was Bodie Euland's spoil on the 6'11" Samson Ryan?
Used his knee to move his opponent. A lot of players around the footy. And Curvis falls to Long. His kick smothered. Taranto needs to be careful in the back.
Cam Mooney, it's a big wide open forward line if it goes Richmond's way.
Yeah, they've got the goalkeeper down there at the moment though, which is a nice one for them. But you're right, if they get out of the back, they're away. But I don't think they're going to get it here.
They've got set up behind the ball. Bodie Euland, who's become a regular under Damien Hardwick. Further out wide to Butterick. Eases into the pocket. Here come the big boys. Vlosten stays down. Stepping one way, then the other with the footy in hand was Banks.
But this is the problem, Derm. When you have all your players up in that half, you haven't got any representation on your wings.
Oh, just for a moment there, Lynch thought he was a chance to sneak in. That's come off the outside of Powers, but deliberately, I think, to find Noble and then to Ainsworth. So they're trying this side rather than the other, and a bit more success this time as Long is probably just about within range here.
It was well worked, Dale, wasn't it? Because they've got every Richmond player within 60 metres of that goal.
Yeah, I just have to poke it in and just find little gaps. See if Long's got the distance from here.
10 goals, 4 in 4 games. As we've talked about, career best form and really elevated his status in the competition as a small, medium forward, put the pressure on and kick goals. This one, though, is going to fall short. No shortage of big men around it. Quite hard read, and then Walter had a crack at it as well. Two young big men that we're going to watch mature before our eyes over the next couple of years for the Gold Coast Suns.
Opening 3 to the Tigers before Graham with the opener for the Suns. Lynchfall and Campbell on the board for the Tigers. Rouse had 9, Hopper 10. Sticking it around the back line. You see they don't want to go long. So as Moon's mentioned before, the Suns are set up really strongly behind the football, so you can't just do the releasing dump kick.
They just can't pinch off that inside 45 degree.
Well, they've got their even numbers now, so they can probably go long.
It's exactly what Taranto does. Rioli will stay down. Lynch has got 2 to beat in the air. Does want to bring it to ground. Rao, yet another possession forward by hand. Flanders now running forward, delivering a long ball is Graham. Reed was out position. Miller played it really well in the end. Got the front to the good contested mark. Just the distance, in fact, not.
To Banks, boy, it looks every bit of 15.
Red hot on that this year.
Certainly in the back 50.
Rogers actually awarded it to him. He
Foster's to Lawler, and now to Ross, who's caught it and dropped it. He couldn't keep his footing there, and that didn't help him. And Jeffrey stuck the tackle, and as a result, kicks it down the line. Miller with the little rise at the back against Floston as they both scrap it out.
So the Tigers have done really well to only concede the 1 goal. The last 5 inside 50s have been in favour of the Suns. So
It's a big 2.5 minutes for them here, isn't it?
They've started well, but they've done that multiple times this year, Hutto. We've spoken about that uncontested style of the game, the kick mark.
Haven't won a first quarter, though. This is their big chance. Witts down to the front. Humphrey ready to burst, but the whistle is going Richmond's way.
Thank you. Stand, Mary. Thumbs on.
Hugo Ralph Smith has split to the other side. It's just a bit far to get to him.
Down. Goes back across through Floston, and then out the other side, Miller had a couple of choices. He'll wait until Brown gets to the right place. And he had to stress a little more than he would have liked to, but no damage done. And Ralph Smith, so they are going really wide. They are playing boundary out of the fence more this year than they did last year. Gallops away, and that's a good choice kick too, wasn't it, Short? Straight away to Lawler, had a week off. He's made such a great start to his career. Gets it in now. Lynch with Rioli ready and waiting. McAndrew has something to say about it though underneath.
Well, it was a great kick by McIntosh. Let's wait to see if there's a free kick about to be paid again.
I don't think McAndrew made a real good effort to get that ball out then.
Lynch made sure he worked on him pretty hard as he was sort of falling to the ground.
He and Lynchy have not stopped yapping at each other this whole game.
So watch this.
A little fall on the top there, Max.
Yeah, a little bit of interest. Just leans on him with the forearm.
And Curvis, Witts. So Matt Ryder focused on the ball. Nice step from Hopper. Goes a little check side. Too much on it.
For not a quick midfield, he's got a lovely sidestep.
Now, Rioli.
We're going to have an ISO cam on these forwards because Tom Lynch has just put Collins down as that ball was sailing through for a behind.
Rioli and Campbell too are having a crack at each other. It's on, there's a minute 15 to go.
There's always those teammates there, you just didn't get along when you were with them. I think those two boys might be in this category.
Well, you think you never secretly didn't like each other and then...
I think they two didn't like each other. They have not stopped either.
Flanders elevates the kick to half forward. Walter came out, at least created the context. Rao given too much space, turned around, kick towards the 100-gamer. King is going to get the aid of a free kick. You hear the collective groan from the Tiger faithful. Brown left to in a bit of a mismatch against Ben King there.
Matty Rao turned to the outside onto his right foot. Had he turned inboard, he had three Gold Coast Suns teammates on the spine in the middle of the ground who would have literally raffled it and ran inside 50. So if he kicks inaccurately here, the Tigers have got away with one.
He's averaging 4.25 goals per game so far, 17 goals in 4 games. And if they play finals and he keeps this rate up, he could be a 100-goal kicker. He's got the first.
Well, there's Ben King's parents.
Well, him, the king, are there.
Those ones.
They're all Kings, Hutto. And he's playing like a king at the moment. If he continues this, he's going to put together one hell of a season. It's his first disposal of the game, so he's been really well held up until this point. But he presents really well. So this is what you're talking about with Matty Rao.
Yeah, see them coming in there. Referee lights.
But the technique's good. He extends the arms. He should have probably taken it, but with the chopping of the arms, you get the same result.
Well, that's the thing about King. He reaches so high. Now, Tom Brown's 193 centimetres.
There's a 9-centimetre difference.
Yeah, when they're standing, when he puts his arms up, it probably add another 4 or 5.
Witts down to Miller, another possession for Rao, number 12. Forced to go on the left, down towards Humphries, takes a good grab. And there's he going, otherwise, well, he's going to have to kick a barrel now. Let's see what he's got. And down from Moe.
He is a big kick out.
Bailey Humphrey. I don't know if he's got a Malcolm Blight at him, but if he does, we'll be up.
He ain't getting there with the drop punt. Do they practice torpedoes anymore, Dal?
They do in their spare time. I reckon that's one of those novelties before or after training.
He's starting his run-up kinder.
As a drop punt, it's going to have to be
Michael Holding.
63 metres. Collins has run the length of the field to try and shepherd it through, I believe.
I think it's just to get on Tom's nerves.
Humphrey for something remarkable late. Drifts out now, keeps it low, flat and hard, and never really looked like it.
Doesn't work like that, Sam. Goes to the hole. Have a go.
Doesn't elect for the talk. So Richmond kicked the first 3 before Graham and King replied. A bit of feeling in this one on Super Saturday Live. The Tigers lead at 3-4-22 to the Suns 2-3-15. The Tigers 7 to the good.
Quarter time on a Saturday night means we're at the Jamison Bar, and as
All right, folks, there we go, quarter time. What an opening quarter here by the Tigers. 3-4-22, leading the Gold Coast Suns 2-3-15. I tell you what, there's been a bit of fire in this game so far. There's been some tug-of-warring, some pushing, some pulling, some double free kicks. It's been interesting, but it's the Tigers who lead in the quarter time. The long shots that came into this game Wowee. I tell you what, the Tigers, if they can keep this up for 4 quarters, they're a big chance. The Gold Coast Suns, though, they haven't really had their chance because the Tigers are just putting the pressure right on the Suns. And as you can see, the Tigers came out, bang, bang, bang. The first 3 goals went to the Tigers in scintillating fashion. Of course, that was all in the first, let's say, 10 minutes of the game. The Tigers didn't score another goal then. They did score a couple behinds, all the 4 behinds. But I tell you what, you'd be pretty happy if you're a Tigers supporter, Tiger fan, or AFL footy fan, seeing what's happening here, because I know for me, I want to see the Tigers win. I want to see the Tigers win. And I tell you what, I'm not sure everyone thinks the same, because so far in the vote, we got 71% saying the Gold Coast Suns will win this game. Let's just have a quick look at the player stats as we go along. Let's see who has the goals. And of course, for the Tigers, Tommy Lynch has got 1, John Fall's got 1, and Seth Campbell have. And of course, for the Gold Coast Suns, Ben King, Will Graham are the other single goal scorers for them. Disposal getters, we've got a couple already in the double figures here. Matty Rowell there for the Gold Coast Suns tops the table with 12, 7 kicks, 5 handball, 1 tackle, 5 clearances, doing well so far. Jacob Hobart next best, and he's for Richmond on 11. Nick Vlosten on 10, Tim Taranto 9. 3 of the top 4 all coming from the Tigers. Let's keep rolling down. Johnny Noble having to do a bit of work down back for the Gold Coast Sun. He's up to 7. Let's keep going. Nathan Broad on 6. Noah Anderson on 6. And let's keep rolling down. Tom Lynch, he started off really well, had a little bit of a rest. He's had the 4 touches, 3 kicks, 1 handball. He's had a couple of marks and kicked a goal for the Tigers so far. So we keep on rolling down. Who else we want to have a look at? Ben Long, he's had 3 touches. So there's quite a few that haven't had many touches at all in this game. McAndrew, I tell you what, Lynch is getting under his skin. Holy moly, it could be fireworks to continue between McAndrew and Lynch down there. You know what, makes it interesting and exciting watching them 2 go at it. Let's keep on going down. Daniel Rioli, quite quarter there for the Gold Coast. He's only had the 2 touches, 2 handballs. That is it for him so far. There we go. The man that's been talked about who shouldn't have been playing, Noah Bolter. Yeah, bad decision by the AFL and the Richmond club playing him this week. 2 touches, 1 handball, 1 kick. I'm sure it's going to weigh on him. Ben King, just the 1 disposal, 1 kick, 1 goal. I think that came off a free kick, so the Tigers' defence holding up really, really well. All right, that's enough for me jibber-jabbering. We'll get back down to the ground in just a minute. Just a shout out and welcome into everyone who came in. Eagles for Life. How you doing? J-Mar, the stats man. What's going on, Squire? NPC Tony said, hi, how you doing? Ryan, how you going, mate? Good luck with your Tigers tonight. Mark, he's going for the Suns. Eddie G, how you doing, Eddie G? I think Eddie G will be a little bit sad after his Freo got beaten by Melbourne today. There we go. That's football. That's why we love football. Anything can happen. All right, folks. Hey, don't forget to vote who you think's going to win in this game. And don't forget, if you like the footy, just give it a like. It's all good. It costs nothing. Just give it a like for me. I'll appreciate it. All right, let's get back down to the ground. It is the Tigers by 7 points, 40 seconds before the bounce of the ball. And that's where they're going to take us into it. Let's head back to the commentators.
And Mac Andrew with them as well. So look out for Tommy Lynch here. He's on the verge of either kicking 4 or 5 or maybe getting 4 or 5 weeks.
You were just discussing with us in the quarter-time break, Nick, that incident between Collins and Lynch back.
Yeah, I think it was 2020 where Collins ended up getting a couple of weeks. So we'll try and dig up the vision just to refresh our memory. But the bit that I vividly remember is the disappointment and distress that it caused Collins post-game. He was almost in tears. He was so disappointed. But we might be in for a little one-on-one because I can't see this going away for the next 3 quarters with these 2 competitors.
So just a snapshot, that first quarter, they won in contested possession, the Tigers. So that's something the coach would have put on them before the game. The Suns got the ball inside forward 50 more than the Tigers, so they've got to clean that up and get a better look at their goals. Have another one, umpire. Yeah, so there's some things going right for the Tigers here.
Red Roseberry in charge, which is probably a good thing. Seems it was a pretty highly charged first quarter.
Holding, Richmond.
Richmond's kick.
Begins with a free kick for a bit of holding.
It's going to be a great duel in the middle with Witts and Nank as well.
One a current captain, one a former skipper. Hewlin with the juggle. All his hands were good. Wide shot from Steely Green. Yeah, the Tigers will have to pop the goal through there.
That's actually quite a gettable kick too for a league footballer.
Oval short to Anderson. Let's go the wraparound hand pass back to Noble.
Oh, I hated that when they used to come at you, two blokes and you're on the mark. You got to take one down, don't you?
100th game for the Gold Coast Suns. Started so well, then dealt with a couple of knee issues, and he's back now and doing a job on the wing. As Bolter fly at the front of the pack. It was in the hands of Gloston. Instinctively knew Short was there. To Ross. Short had nothing really, so he comes back. He works his way through it.
It's going to work, though. The Suns worked hard to get out here, this side, and now there's a little bit of space to work in on the outer.
Gloston to Brown. Low, piercing ball down the line. And McAndrew just got a hand in front of Jonty Fall.
So 8-point margin. And again, it'll be Ned Curvis and Witts. On the move was Taranto. Opposed to Graham. Back over the line again.
Well, Matty Reels had the 12 disposals so far. Hasn't used the ball overly well, particularly by foot, but getting his hands on the football and meters gained. But just as effective as been Hopper and Taranto as a collective, 11 and 9. So
That's really what they did last weekend too. They just fell away after half time.
Landers is looking after Taranto at stoppage at the moment, but the footy with Ross and now Tresice. Hopper waiting if it comes his way, which it does. Taranto feeding it back effectively. Now it's go-ahead time. Brown has himself a bounce. And a high, long kick. Hewlin is the extra safety. Yep. More space and time than he probably realised, so could have taken the mark. Lawler sneaks in, showing all the traits of a top-line footballer. He played it back to Brown and really didn't do him too many favours whatsoever. A little tap of the hand maybe with an apology for that. And we'll see a throw in once again.
Ullman and Trainer, the two subs tonight. In front of a middling crowd here at Marvel Stadium. Never one of Damien Hardwick's favourite.
No, and the Tigers fans have probably followed on, haven't they?
He might walk away tonight saying, Gold Coast, we hate playing here.
He might.
Yeah. Tigers' record since those famous comments, no good at all.
Good mark by Bolter at the wing. And someone to come towards him. There's Noah. Short, he's overcooked it to Jeffrey. Targets inside. Rogers has snuck out the back. Should go back and line them up. You just can't defend those sort of turnovers. The Tigers half-backs were on the move forward, trying to get some width and try and get some length on the game. When it's an absolute clanger like that, it is defenceless.
It was also the great lead from King there, Dem. I reckon you would have seen that. He led really hard up the middle. That drew three Richmond players, which just allowed Rogers just to sit out here on his own.
Yeah, he took the eye line of all those Tigers, didn't he?
Rogers, formerly of the Broadbeach Cats.
Close.
Very close to the man on the mark and sprayed it wide. It appeared like he didn't have a structured run up there. He just kept going and going.
It's a bad stutter, wasn't it?
It's the equivalent of a no ball.
Extra footy out on the field. It's ignored as Brown trots off. Kicks a low ball. It was almost steering towards John Noble.
Okay, that's two turnovers in a row for the Tigers. They've got to clean this up, otherwise they definitely will put it back on them and score here.
Yeah, hasn't cost them yet. Bolter. Juggles a good grab and then he rushes and slams it high again. Needed help, but he got it from one of the smaller men in Steely Green. That's an excellent take. Such a sky-high footy. Keeps it along the boundaries. He noticed the movement of Ross and Fall was outpointed ultimately by McAndrew. Back into the middle of Flanders. A fumble. Campbell was sweating, but found a way out through Rioli. In the background of the boos. There's Buttery. Won't be drawn yet. Now he takes the kick. Rioli did well. Back through. Made the steal. And now the go. Hesitation. The step was terrific. Kicked it forward. No mark for fall. No whistle either. He got in the way of Campbell for a moment. Lawler. They keep handballing more in hope than anything else. Noble. Lawler has a second go. And again, he goes straight to the opposition. So now it's Ross hurdling through. If this is a goal, it could be advantage paid. It wasn't a goal anyway.
Well, it's just been a slight trip, I believe, by Noble. That free kick is paid for.
Yep.
It's just the dragging leg.
Oh, yeah, I thought so. Yeah, that was a dangerous kick. The umpire's action that he proceeded to show. Oh, he did too. There you go. An instinctive, I need to stop him coming forward, threw the foot out. There's no malice in it, but it is illegal.
You don't often actually see the reports given it on the spot anymore. It didn't turn him around and take his number like they used to. Now, Jack Ross, just the 2 goals too for the season. Enjoying the opportunities he's being presented though. And that includes kicking long-range majors, but all for the better. That's a big goal for the Tigers after the first quarter.
Oh, they're on again.
Well, he doesn't discriminate, Tom Lynch. He's able to pick on anyone, regardless of their size. So this is now the reportable incident. Noble, no force in it at all. So
it's a little bit Dustin Fletcher-ish, isn't it? It's kind of instinctive. I need to stop him coming forward to get an easy shot at goal.
But also unnecessary.
Correct, yeah. Just describing why it's done.
So it might cost him a fine. It's certainly cost them a goal.
7 minutes into this second quarter, we spoke about the contested possession in the first quarter and how dominant the Tigers were. 12-2 in the first 7 minutes. So they are controlling it at stoppage and in contested situations.
Luke Miller goes into the middle.
Nick Del Santo, Derek Burrett and Cameron Mooney, Anthony Hudson, Super Saturday Live. It was the Tigers by 7 at quarter time. They're out by 13. Deep ball inside. Bolter scurried back, evades King, didn't really want to go on the left, make a bad fist of it though. Rioli keeps his feet, does Morris, now tries to burn away, ducks the head, steps round the couple, steps round free in the end and gets the crowd on their feet, and then it doesn't quite work out. Powell measures it nicely to Miller.
Well, he couldn't kick that down the line, that's why he was trying every trick in the bag. Get Ewell down the line. Didn't want to kick it directly back to the Suns.
Got to know your moment for your best chance, though, don't you? Who to get it to at best for your team.
Coaches' votes in all 4 games this year, averaging 25 disposals and nearly 2 goals a game. Took Miller. Out to the right, hooks it left, and the Tigers take care of it in defence.
So respected Took Miller for what he's done throughout the course of his career and how honest he is as a footballer. Even if you asked most players, would you want to run down the race with this guy? They'd be a unanimous yes, please.
It's not doing much in their front 50, are they, at the moment, in terms of converting?
No, I can't think of a lead that's actually drawn the kick yet.
Careful on the way out. Of course, as Tigers getting it to Foster. Now where to? Down the line. Again, keeping it pretty wide. Andrew gets a free rein. Can't take the mark, so it fell for fall. And then to the in and out. Ross did well. Had a runner on the outside. Steely Green to the square. Noble cuts across.
He read that very, very well. It had to be an awesome kick to get over his head from the distance Steely Green was away.
His 14th disposal, John Noble, equal on the ground with Foster.
And he can find it.
He hits the rangy Powell on half back. 60-metre coverage with the kick. Miller, Bolter. Oh, copped a poke in the eye, Noah Bolter.
Bolter threw the head back.
Not a small man, Jed Walter, is he?
No, he's going to get bigger too.
Through the hands of Miller. Dow.
Play on.
Hold. going the other way. The way there, the Tigers was going back to Took. Rao comes up at him. Noble spreads wide.
So Nankervis is 50 down the line, so there's not a lot of room for those big forwards to run up and lead and jump into.
Here comes Nankervis. Bolter sport him. Rogers clever by hand. Long centering ball. King with a good fist. Short under pressure. They dump it out of defence only as far as Noble.
Done it again, getting to the right spot.
Poor starting
Excellent
by Rioli then.
Centering ball to Powell from one step. It's going to drift across the front of the goal and away from Walter. Got displaced by Miller. It's out on the full.
And Rioli's coming from the ground, Doom. You raise a good point. Noble's positioned himself defensively where the ball could go.
Most likely he's going
Most
to go.
likely at percentages. And he's getting the football. Disposal number 15 he's had.
Morris having a rest along with Leach. And working across and out the other side. Ralph Smith gets the all clear to take off. He's going to work in tandem here with Broad. And then Rogers nabbed him. Miller takes it. It's coming hard the other way. Can they utilise it this time? Long places it in the leading lanes, but beautifully read by Banks.
Picked that off beautifully. Banks immediately spreads it to the outer side to the dashing Steely Green. Runs his measure with a low ball. Kicked it straight to McAndrew.
That's 3 kicks in a row. Steely Green does not hit the target. He's trying to kick really flat, low and hard, and I understand that's a great kick if you can pull it off. If you can't get it far enough, you've got to do the best for the team.
Joel Jeffrey, good hit into Powell, who's starting to get involved in the last 5 or 6 minutes. He's got a target in Graham. King's deep. They go in that area now. He elevates, gets hands to it. Walter.
His only goal late in the opening term. Rao, Flanders, it's touched. McIntosh, reflexes needed from Brown. Runs the gauntlet, he's in trouble.
He's come from outside.
Wow.
Not sure about that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Did he come from outside 9?
I thought so, yeah.
Well, he started under no pressure, then caused pressure by the angle that he ran across the face of goal.
Now he has a bit of time and space to blast it out to the wing. Knocked away by Ryan. Loose ball, Ainsworth, Miller. Waiting for someone to link up with. Humphrey was under immediate stress from short. He did well for the Tigers down the line. Fall and Collins tangle. Hewlin striding out and getting ready to send the Suns with another surge again. Rioli, outstretched hands of Ainsworth. Eventually, he has control of the footy and can dictate turns through Rao.
With a long left foot ball down towards King. He's got 2 to beat. Fist comes, falls to a dangerous area. Vlosten had plenty of the footy. Kicks stymied going out of defence. Back to Miller. To Ainsworth. Overrun it. Here comes McIntosh. Miller tries to clean up. Ainsworth again. Back to Rao. Running out of room. He's got the power and the strength to create a bit of a gap. Here comes Reid at the back. Might have got a shove. And Bolter just kicks it as far away as he can to Lynch, who is in the wing with a massive green area ahead of him.
He was almost the closest man to goal. Now that goes to Campbell, inside 50. He goes for the size of Ryan, and Hewland again from nowhere comes cracking across and plays spoil sport.
Clever as can be there by young Seth Campbell. So that kick, yeah, really well done by Hewlin as well. He's run so hard to get there. So if he goes onto his left foot or tries to get back onto his right, the second tackler gets him. So he's got to kick on his right, and he can't get the ball low and flat.
Oh, shallow throw in. Ryan tried to kick it out of the air. Powers manhandled.
Well, John Noble's just come from the ground. He's having a huge night. We spoke about those 15 disposals. He's also had 5 intercept mark, which is a career best for him.
Suns are away here. 1 kick accesses the corridor. Anderson wants to send it on further. Brown to be under pressure. Miller coming back with a fly.
Free kick.
Beautiful kick. In fact, it's long coming back. Gee, it's a good grab. All sorts of pressure on him.
So we see Nick Holman is sub again tonight, and we know he's a ripping, competing player. This bloke's got his spot, and he's just got that touch of aerial prowess above Holman, and that's probably why he's got the position ahead of him.
Long. A good year in front of goals. Hits that one well. Just to calm things down for the Suns. Good finish by Ben Long. It's a great finish and a really good mark. But as the ball was coming in, Hutto, I reckon the umpire called it as a free kick for the push and then looked for the other umpire for clarification or confirmation.
Because the whistle went before he marked.
And then they both just looked at each other and said, okay, we'll just pay the mark because it was so good. There, just that little push. So he didn't have eyes on the football as he was coming back initially. Onto Brown. Still a fantastic grab, but just there. Just a moment of uncertainty between the two umpires, the adjudicating one and then the one forward of the football.
So that's front-on contact in the
I would think so.
Yeah. Anyway, the goal stands.
The umpire in the end
I don't know if you look at that again.
called it.
The one in
That
the
was
middle
overruled.
looked at it and then nothing actually happened after that.
Ryan with a soft tap. Raul doesn't know anything about soft. Anderson, there's Raul again. Trying to put on another clinic. Miller, Anderson. There wasn't much of a gap, but he couldn't get out the other side. Taranto took it without thinking. Had to handball to a ruckman. That's never good. That kick was a little lucky. Went to the chest of Rioli, who just kind of pressed the pause button for a moment. And then his kick was a bit of a middling one, to use your term. Yeah, in fact, that's probably been generous. Humphrey bangs it deep to King, who just got himself off balance. Bolton maybe just did enough to disturb. Miller to Anderson. And finally, some connection inside the forward 50, and it's Walter.
First touch for the night for Jed Walter. He's worked pretty hard. Well, that's kind of the story of his career so far. He's only wouldn't have had 20 games on the board, but he came in with a big reputation. We're really keen to see him blossom. But everything he gets is hard fought.
He's played probably his best couple of games over the last couple of weeks. And it's going to be fascinating to see what he can become. Already, though, 5 goals, 3 in his 3 games. Huge frame. And again, they are bedeviled by poor kicks at goal or lack of connection at times in the front 50, the Suns. So that would have been to put them in front, but instead they're still in arrears.
Banks. Short's got a lot of time. Back to Banks. It was pretty easily cut off in the end by Humphries.
Inside 50s this quarter, 11-5 in favour of the Suns.
And +8 for the game there, Hutto. So starting to get that field position. Suns are controlling the clearances, but contested possession still in favour of the Tigers. McIntosh standing Humphrey in this contest. Just gets away from Ainsworth. Taranto puts his head down. Wicks, just a bit of body, and it fell to the ground. Wobbling ball forward, Reed's caught behind, and Gloucester is playing a fine game. He's up for his 16th disposal.
I saw him bloodied last week with that incident with Patrick Voss. Taranto in plenty of space, a couple of slow steps, and then he kicks looking for either Lynch or Rioli. Collins worked Lynch under the ball, so the footy went out the back, and wouldn't you know it, there's an extra Sun there, and it's Yulin. Forward handball from Ainsworth to Collins. It often seems so far afield. Off to Weller, down the line, here's Long again, posing a real threat.
Just presents so well, doesn't he? Yeah.
That's the hit-up lead when the key targets are actually caught flat-footed.
And Wilson in the square. Reed is well leading up to the footy. Neither could connect as the ball goes over the line and out of bounds. Benkin's off the ground for the moment, so it's the 2 youngsters as the main focus up there.
Umpire's telling them when they're a long way back. Don't bother Witsy.
Ryan and Witts meet each other. Hopper. I do find that unusual in our game where the umpires give instructions to professional footballers. If they want to stand that far away, good luck to them.
That's on them.
Hold the meter.
Long. Taranto. Ball not going anywhere.
So a little bit of a lull, but Richmond, they're out of Mosaic, winning their first opening quarter of the season and hanging on just to that 4-point advantage. As Mac and Ben get ready to come back on the ground when they can. They're trapped away from it at the moment. McIntosh batters it. Long had it again. Wiped out straight away. Clearing kick out of there for the Tigers, but it's coming back and quickly from Powell. And it's a well-paced delivery into the pocket for Flanders, who's been squeezed out of the main list of midfielders, despite being a huge ball winner last year, but he's adapting pretty well. Kicked a couple of goals last week, along with 21 disposals.
11 more inside 50s at the moment, Del, so the damn wall has to break sooner or later unless Richmond do something about that.
Notice on Sam Flanders this time. And he has the same trouble. Not easy shots necessarily, but haven't converted.
So we've looked at the contested possession rate, and the Tigers are going pretty well. One area of contested possession they can't win is the exit kick out of the back line to somewhere up around the wing area, which is what you want your half forwards to come up and fight that fight or take that mark. They cannot win the proceeds from this type of long kick. They've got to get a chain of 2 to 3 possessions here.
Good hit on Dow.
Even a stoppage is a great result. Durham just allow their forwards to reset up the field instead of getting
and the back
turnover.
To rest.
Forced to kick to a contest. McAndrew looks like he's going to easily snaffle that and does. Powell, defensive point of the square.
So they're already in control now again. The Suns, they shouldn't lose this footy.
Well-weighted kick. He didn't really want to try and get it to know what was forced to in the end, and it just scrubs out of bounds.
So Damien Hardwick a little bit disappointed with that inaccuracy in front of goal, the 3 goals, 8. Then on the flip side, 16 inside 50s for the Tigers to this point of the game total for 9 scoring shots.
4 of those 8 behinds have been rushed for the Suns, but still it's about not quite getting it right at the very end, isn't it? Tossed up high again, over the head of Reed. Was there some interference?
Has to be.
Yeah, enough for the umpire to blow the whistle.
187 takes on, what does he Ethan Reed, 200 plus?
202, don't you?
202. Yeah, it's a big discrepancy. So you watch him try to body him under here and disguise it as a 2 hands up in the air.
Just the 4 games last year for 3 goals, 1. So this is his 9th all told. 19-year-old, he can run. At that size, he has got a huge future ahead of him.
He could do with a goal.
30 metres out. And another near miss. Nick Boston is loving it back there because he's taken most of the kick hits. He's not going to take this one. He's had 17 disposals. Fair chunk of them have been from the old play on from kicking in.
1 goal, 6 for the term, the Suns. Again, they go out to the city side. Lynch will be the flyer. Taranto's down. McIntosh, Dow. Back to McIntosh. Hopper. Trying a little fade and a fake. And Curvis. Real floater. Makes it hard for Ross. Competes well in the air. Suns have got the numbers. They go inside 50 again. He's going straight back to that man, Gloston.
Well, King just came on the ground, so they were 1 short in the forward line there, the Suns. So he made himself a +1, Gloston. Oh, it's not a nice kick.
Yes. Wouldn't have wanted to go another couple of inches, though, would it?
Well, if he leaves that, it goes out.
This is the kick here that you've been talking about, Durham. They just get a little extra on. This is nice. So 8 intercept marks this quarter, the Gold Coast Suns. So this is where they're falling down, Hutto.
Yeah, so now the landing zone will be at least a little further on, won't it?
So, yeah, both back lines are in control aerially.
Nicely adapted kick at the last to find Rel Smith, who has access to gain another 5. Kick towards Lynch, and Collins has got to deal with Powell in the front. Collins brings it down. It's not a mark. Powell got the first glove on it.
So you have the Tigers couldn't win the contest aerially up around the wing when they're trying to come out, and the Suns Walter and Reid have had 2 possessions between them if King's not on the ground.
So can Richmond at least lock it away here and try and get a decent scoring shot?
Thank you.
Another stoppage. At least it gives their backman a little bit of respite.
Give me space, boys. Move.
We'll see if Rao defends here or just wins the footy. See ball, get ball on the fly. Down! He's kicked the goal! One to celebrate for Thompson Dow, just his second in AFL football. It's been a long time between drinks.
He came from inside. They see Hopper out there on the left-hand side of the post. He was the one I thought the feed was going to, but just tracks the ball. They're in a really tight bunch, the Gold Coast defenders there and midfielders that have gone back there. And Dow's the first one to exit that tight bunch. It's a pretty simple pretty simple snap across the body in the end.
He hits it at pace though, Derm, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The ability to grab that ball or one touch down to himself before he's able to snap it. Only had the ball in their front half 32% of the time this quarter for the Tigers, so it hasn't been in there a great deal. 6 inside 50s and a crucial goal.
His last goal came in 2022.
He was 60 a game, 42 goals.
And gives Richmond a little buffer again, approaching the major break.
That's Graham, last one up off the deck as well for the Suns. Now a big catch for us.
Humphrey does well to flick it out immediately to Miller. Reverse spiral inside 50.
That's his 11th intercept in the first half, which is the most ever, Nick Floston.
I would say that apart from a couple of kicks, he's been really well supported by Noah Bolter as well back in the team. He's had some very good moments as well.
No one realised Banks has to go. Including Humphrey didn't hear the call on the mark. Ryan needs to stay out of Lynch's way. They both compete. Taranto, Weller provided a bit of pressure. Back to Dow. Lynch just knees it forward to Rioli. What's he got for us? Morris tries to step through. Unfortunately, nothing at this stage. Now the Suns are away through Ainsworth. He's caught in a tackle. Game got up a notch. McAndrew coming back the other way is Brown. Ryan. Once again, it's the Suns. So it's been turned over about 4 times in the passage. Noble. Now a bit of space to Toot Miller. 20-metre hand pass forward. This is a good build-up now. Rioli arrives. Just hassled off the board. Broad comes back the other way.
And let's see what Richmond can do with the footy. Floston gives himself a bit of time. Across to Tresice onto his trusty left. Oh, I can see where he had to go. So could we all. And he arrives.
Well done by Nick Floston again. Just took the heat out of that moment, used it wisely.
Got his breath back and then was able to put it across to Campbell. And now Ralph Smith. Yep. Kyle, the offender, shakes his head. This is big for Richmond.
It's the first time they've gone in for what would be the back half of this quarter with real pace. So there's a little bit of panic on the backman to try and stop that lead up, that hit up. Once again, the architect was Nick Floston. Could have got gobbled up in the tackle had he just taken a forward step.
And that number you gave, Del, was for the most for any player this year.
That's correct. Yeah, 11. Up to 21. That's correct. He's up to 21 disposals.
So here go Ralph Smith. As we said, he made an excellent return from a hamstring injury in the pre-season. And this is a big goal. Gold Coast have dominated the quarter, but now they look at the scoreboard. The unbeaten Gold Coast Suns up against a team right down near the bottom with just 1 win in the Tigers. There's been feeling, there's been heat. And despite the Suns getting so much more of the footy and having opportunities in the second quarter, the Tigers making the most of their chances. And Richmond lead by 14 points at halftime. Maybe they love Mobil Stadium after this.
All right, half time. I tell you what, the Tigers, I should say, folks, they are continuing the fight. They're doing fantastic. I tell you what, Gold Coast came out. They kicked one. They got the score back a bit, but then the Tigers went bang, bang late in that second term, and they've stretched the lead out now to 14 points, 7 points a quarter time. Of course, 14 points at half time. The Tigers putting on 3-1. Gold Coast 1 goal, 6. Is that what's going to hurt them? Look at that, kicking 3 goals, 9. The Suns 27. Trail the Tigers 6-5, 41. Tigers doing it well. I just want to welcome in one of my members there, Xiaomi Mi. Gia, mega love shout out. Welcome in. Tina and Bem, the managers in the house. MPC, how you doing? Yeah, this is a good game. Look, no one expected this to happen, but the Tigers' pressure and the run, they're looking really good. Look, at times, you do see a couple of the Tigers players sort of overuse the ball. They just need to be a little bit more composed, etc. like that, and they'll hit the targets up a little bit more. But I tell you what, I like the way they're going about their game. Their learning process is really good, and I think Uze is doing a great job coaching them. We love to see it. Tigers by 14. We'll be back with the commentators not too far away. Let's just duck over and do our usual, folks. Let's go and have a look at the at some of the stats up until half-time. The AFL fantasy points game, if you play that. Nick Voston way out in the head. 97, he's scoring pretty high up until opening half. 97 points. John Noble having a good game there. 76 points for the Suns. The goal scorers so far in this game, no multiple goal scorers, all single goal scorers out there. For the Tigers, it's Jack Roche, Ralph Smith, Tom Lynch, John Full, and of course Thompson Dow with Seth Campbell, all single goal scorers. For the Gold Coast Suns, 3 goals up until half time. Yeah, I tell you what, they didn't expect that, did they? They didn't expect that. Ben Long, Ben King, Will Graham, single goal scorers. Disposal getters, Vlosten up to 21 disposals, the only player on the ground in the 20s, 18 kicks, 3 handballs, 10 marks. Thank you, mother, for the Rabbits. 2 tackles. Matt Rowell and John Noble leading the way for the Gold Coast Suns, both on 17 disposals for the 2 boys. Tim Taranto having a good game there for the Tigers, up to 16. Jacob Hopper on 15. Took Miller there for the Suns, 16, going rather well. Noah Anderson on 11. Let's just roll down a little bit. Lockie Waller there for the Suns on 7. Ben Long on 7. All kicks, 6 marks, 1 goal, 1 for Ben Long. McAndrew, he was a little bit quieter in that second term. The fire sort of was extinguished on him, especially after the first quarter. He was really hot-headed. I think Tom Lynch was getting stuck into him and a couple of other players. He was giving it to them all. I think he got into their heads a little bit, Tom Lynch, so he did well. Jared Witch there, the big man for the Gold Coast Suns, just the 5 disposals, 17 hit-outs. And there are the rest of your players' stats there. We're going to head back down to the commentators, and they'll give us a little bit of analysis on the opening half, and then we'll come back and have a little bit of a look at the team stats.
Andrew, Nick Del Santo, it was entertaining for all sorts of reasons.
It was a bit hot, wasn't it? We were trying to work out early on why, but there was a little bit of history. That particular matchup goes back to about 2020 with a little bit of biff that happened back then, so there was a bit of feeling in the game, but it started with Tom Lynch. But I loved the initiative that the Tigers have shown. They've shown some really good first quarters and first halves this year. Their challenge now is how long can they do it for, but I love their energy and a couple of really good goals late.
Thanks to Maccas. Let's have a look at the first quarter goals for the Tigers. They kicked 3 of them, the first time they've led at the first break all season.
It was great to see. And as we just touched on, we've seen glimpses of this throughout the course of the year. Clearly, round 1, we saw it in the second half against the Blues. But this was in the first few moments of the game. And this just highlights to me the energy and the passion that they're still playing with. This is a young group that's trying to set the foundation for the future. Now, this is a brilliant goal, first of all, by Fall. That's brilliant. But then you keep an eye on McAndrew. This is the feeling that's been happening behind the play throughout the course of particularly the first 5 to 10 minutes. That results in a double goal. And then they're off and running the Tigers. Their tails are up and they are right in the contest. Their contested position has been exceptional. They are leading that particular stat by 11, an area that the Suns have dominated every game this year.
Every time the Suns go forward, there seems to be Nick Vlosten standing alone, taking control of the football. 11 intercepts, 21 disposals. He has been outstanding.
He's been enormous. That's the most intercept possessions of any player in a half this year. That's how dominant he has been. He's had 21 disposals, over 400 metres gain. Now, we must say, some of those have been from kick-ins as well, which we're still trying to work through about what the value of that is. But whatever you think that is worth, he's been sensational across that half-back line and even deep, controlling and stopping a lot of goals and a lot of dominance that the Suns particularly had in that quarter.
How have you seen the performance of Matt Rowell?
I'd hate to say that he shocks us or surprises us because he does this now every week. He is so reliable and he plays a brand of football that is transferable anywhere in Australia in any conditions. He puts his nose over the football. He's leading all comers with the 5 clearances, the contested possessions. He can tidy up his disposal, particularly by foot. It hasn't been at the level that it probably has been previously, but it's hard to ask anything more of this guy with the way he's gone about his football once again today. He could probably ask something else with the Speedos, but that's a different conversation.
I'm sure he put the shorts on before half-time, but he runs back out. Half-time here, the Tigers lead it by 14 points. Time now for another version of the Toyota Hiluxathon. You don't send a ute to do a Hilux job. Get there, baby. For these footy skill challenges.
All right, while they're doing that, folks, let's go and have a little bit of a look at some of the team stats. We'll get a little bit of an idea. Look, I don't think there'll be too much in the team stats today, although Richmond certainly have had more of the ball. Only 15 disposals. The difference up at the half-time, look at that. Richmond, 170 to half-time. They are dead set smack on their season average of 340. The Gold Coast Suns way down on that. So they'll need to lift. They'll need to have the ball in their hands a little bit more. Control the ball, even if they need to just slow it down a little bit to take that time off the Tigers. 11 more kicks, 4 more handballs there to the Tigers. Inside 50s. Does that surprise you? Have a look at that. 18 inside 50s for the Tigers. Well, I would have thought it was more than that, but there we go. 18 inside for 11 scoring shots. They're doing fantastic there from 6 goals. So every 3 entries there resulting in a goal for the Tigers, which is great. 31 inside 50s for the Gold Coast Suns. Well, there we go. That is, there we go. 13 more than the Tigers. Just for the 12 scoring shots. The thing that's hurting the Suns definitely is their score. 3 goals, 9. A lot of behinds there. And, you know, when you got a chance to get the goal, you got to take it. Yeah. If you miss them, it's going to come back to bite you later. Disposal efficiency, not too bad for both teams. 74, 72.9. Both going above their average. So both efficiency pretty good. The efficiency inside 50 for the Tigers is very good. 55.6. I said a little bit low for the Gold Coast Suns. They've been in there a lot more times without always scoring. 12 free kicks each, all tied up there on that front, all going pretty even there, nothing much, all pretty relevant free kicks happening out on the ground today. I think the umpires look to be umpiring the game reasonably well. I don't think there's any favour or really bad decisions out there. I think it's, as I said, I think it's reasonably well umpired. The hit-out section, the Gold Coast Suns, they're leading the way there, 19-8. The big man Whitsett doing the job. The clearances, Suns in front there, 16-12. Centre clearances, Tigers by 1. Stoppage clearances around the ball. There we go. The Suns, +5 in that department as well. Not a great deal in the possession way. The contested possession, there's only 9 the difference there. 61-52. The Gold Coast Suns, well, they just need to be a little bit harder at the contest. 52. That's up just under a third of what they get for the match. We're already halfway through, so they're well below on that. Uncontested though, pretty similar there. 106, 101. Turnovers reasonably on standard for both teams, 31-32. Marks 52, +7 to the Tigers. Tigers going on average, or both teams just marginally above average, but 7-3 marks inside 50. Gold Coast Suns getting their opportunity, but squandering their chances. You've got to make it count when it happens. Contested marks though around the ground. There we go. The Tigers a little bit stronger in the air, +2 in that department. Tackles, both teams look a little bit low on the tackle count. Well, it's a bit of a contested game. I would have thought there'd be more tackles than that. Usually pressure in that area of the game is where a team can do damage against the other. But both teams a little bit low there. Tackles inside 50. Good to see the Tigers. 6 tackles inside 50 up until half time. Their season average 5.2, so they've obviously worked on that part of the game. Bringing the pressure inside 50. That's always good to keep the forward 50 pressure on. There we go. We'll just go back to the main bit and we'll wait for the commentators to come back. We're only 8 minutes out before the start of the second half. I just want to say g'day to Ryan Avery, Rogue One. How you going? How you going, Squire? A happy Richmond Tiger fan here, he says. He's a big Tiger fan, so it's great to see the Tigers in front at halftime. 14 points up here at Marvel Stadium. Let's hope they can continue on this way, Ryan, and have the second win of the season for them. It'd be fantastic. It'd be a huge boiler if they can get up and beat the Suns. As I was saying earlier, when we first started the broadcast, Richmond hasn't won there, I think, since 2021. They haven't won in their last 10 games at Marvel Stadium. There we go. So it's going to be interesting. Let's hope the Tigers can continue this form, continue the pressure, and give their fans a bit of excitement. I think, I think that really gives the Tigers players a bit of a boost with the fans out there, being on top, being noisy out there, and cheering on their players. So you've got to enjoy that. All right, let's get back down to the commentators, and I'll continue a little bit of analysis.
See what Simon Goodwin means to Max Gawn. When the game had to be won at the end, it had to be saved in a lot of ways. It was Max that got the job done.
Oh, so they're just talking about the Melbourne Fremantle game here at the moment.
For a side that's been built off contest for a long period of time, today was the best result in 10 years at contested possession, 134. And I think we got an inkling off Simon Goodwin that they were in for the fight today in our pre-game chat with him. He was just there, and you just felt this sense of ferociousness about him, and Max Gawn spoke after the game that they were not going to lose this game in the last quarter.
Steve Smith, the most relieved man in football. He heads to the Mediterranean knowing now that his coach is safe.
And they've got Richmond next and then West Coast, so all of a sudden the tide could really turn.
Yeah, they could start to build a little piece together of work that maybe is another couple of wins over the next 2 weeks. So momentum builds. We've seen Carlton build off a win against West Coast last week, winning yesterday, that maybe this side can get to 3 and 5.
What about from a Fremantle point of view, Jay? Are Dockers one of the biggest teasers in the competition at the moment?
Certainly are, and that's why we're unconvinced about the Dockers. I mean, this is a team who's played finals once in the last 10 years. They're still one of the most inconsistent sides going in the round. I mean, but you look at that list, what do they lack? I mean, look at the midfield, Sarong, Young, Brayshaw, the forward line's got all the weapons. The back line, solid as a rock. It's all there. You're right, they are a big tease.
Let's hear from the coach, Justin Longmuir.
Disappointed with the way we played. Yeah, didn't think we were tough enough. Felt like didn't value the right things. Didn't defend our front half the way I wanted to defend our front half. I mean, we wanted to have over 70 points at half time. That's just not the team we want to be.
Kingy, what did you hope to see today compared to what you did see?
I hope to see in the first 40, 50 minutes of footy that this game travels to the MCG. The one that they played with such dare and bravery a couple of weeks ago, just don't see it consistently. We see it in fits and starts, and it's frustrating because the bottom line is they've only beaten the Western Bulldogs, West Coast Eagles and Richmond. The Dogs have had their own trouble with injury and whatnot. So I look at this team and this list and I say, are you wringing the rag dry on talent at the Fremantle Football Club? You have to say no. You have to ask why they can't play with dare for 100 minutes on the road. It was a perfect opportunity for them today. They got Melbourne on the rack. Simon Goodwin under pressure. Come and get it done.
I think we've got that and plenty more to talk about in the Saturday debrief, but we're back to Marvel Stadium next. The Tigers.
Sniffing an upset.
Could they be on their way to another upset? Jack Rewalt thinks so. We are back to Mark Howard and Anthony Hudson next for the second half.
very exciting first half. I mean, first quarter in particular, a lot of intensity. Must have been very thrilled with that.
Yeah, and pressure and intensity has been terrific. That quarter we lost our way a little bit. We got stuck in our back end, and hopefully we can rectify that. But they're a good team, and we're in the game, which is great.
So coming out of that back half, your kicking is obviously a bit wayward. They were getting intercept marks. Where do you get around that?
Yeah, we just need some patience. They're good at it. We understand that they're very good at it, and that's what they build their game on. So, yeah, we need some patience, find a mark and set the ground up, and hopefully we can get out.
Very excited, mate. Good luck in the second half.
No worries.
Thanks,
Well, coaches are never really fully happy, aren't they? Just the one win so far, that surprise victory over Carlton at the start of the year. They led by 14, but I mean, he's obviously right, isn't he? They did get stuck in that second quarter, so it's going to be hard for them to win unless they can find another method.
But their backline held up beautifully. I mean, this was a real win for their backline, and so they absorbed everything that the Suns threw at them. Suns could kick more accurately too as well. That would help their cause.
A deep breath or two from Tigers, old and young, and we're ready to start the third term.
The Tigers by 14 points, searching for a second win. The Suns haven't dropped one all season. Immediate clearance down towards Rioli. ×2. Morris and Daniel competing there. And gets to Broad. Squeezes it forward. Overrunning it is Fall. Butterick just taps it forward. Anderson overruns it. Morris Rioli steps over the top of Anderson, trying to retrieve the share. Now he's got some work to do. He just creates space like no one else could. How he did that, I don't know. It was a highlight in itself. And now Daniel Rioli comes in. That little bit of footwork from Morris. He had 4 around him, Dermot, still stepped out.
Oh, it was just reminiscent of a little fella who played at Hawthorn. He just had no idea where he was going.
Similar name.
Yeah, very similar.
Wow. Give anything for an early goal here, the Tigers.
And Rioli, Gold Coast has swapped over onto Rioli Richmond this quarter. Got to get better connection going inside 50. Rao's gone in 5 times for not much connection. Anderson 4 times, not great connection either.
Curtis thought about trying to shark it himself. Lynch, ragdoll, holding the ball, but they're not going to wait. The advantage leverage now. Miller able to work it away. Woodrick's kick sharp. Finds Long. That's hard running forward. Graham
in the act. The umpire says yes. Gee, that's fortunate.
See where Ben King wants it. Graham has to decide. Right, he's going a different way, rerouting across the top to Powell.
He's a beautiful kick. He'll have a lot of space if he just drops a dart in just to 15 metres out.
There's the set-up kick, King. He's not easy the man to move aside, though, is Bolter, and King finding that out again, as he did late last year when he just kicked one guy.
Sorry, Hutto, just watching Dan Rioli. He wasn't through with some of the contact down the other end. He's still limping. Whether it was just a left knee from an old teammate.
I reckon he just grazed Lynch's knee under his ribs there as he was coming down. I think it was accidental, but he is sore at the moment, Del.
Boston, 21 disposals in the first half. Just powering through round Miller. His kick is smothered. The Tigers need to be careful through Green, trying to work their way out of defence. Now there's a ball to be won. Miller, ground level, tries to squeeze it out by hand. To Ranto. Out to Ainsworth. Beautifully picked up. Sends it out to space. Anderson over the footy. Pretty scrappy little passage. Comes back to Noble. Free kick. It's going the way of Noble.
So this is the type of kick that it's not going to go too deep, but they've got to get a benefit out of this next kick.
Here's the kick from Weller, and it's good. Long has been lively all evening.
Yeah, but you're 1 out of 8 shots kicking a goal from here. And even then, you've got to have somebody who naturally fades the ball left to right.
Well, he's looking for an option. He's got that left-handed point and saying, I need a little lead up.
Yeah, darted in.
So squares the ball. Used the body by Miller. Allowed Nankervis to access it. Trezise. They just stood off him. Trying to get him to rush it through. Fall. Steely Green takes on McAndrew and brings him to the turf. The more I watch Ben Long, he looks like an undersized Keith Ford. He just finds those pockets of space. He leads full chest. It takes it in the hands. Just happens to be about 2 foot too short.
A little frustrated there. But it's been the night for the Suns, hasn't it, in the front half so far? He's taken 4 marks inside 50, Ben Long. Noah Anderson, only 11 disposals in the first half. He averages close to 30, in fact, on 30 this year.
Thomas Dow posing in here.
Yep, staying pretty close. Read it beautifully off the hands of the rucks, and again, they press to the top of the square. Floston falters in the air. Graham besieged. 2 Tigers to bring him down.
Straight up now, lads. Straight up.
Just the longer they can just stay in it and preserve this lead, the more questions will be asked here of the Suns.
7 at quarter time, 14 at half time, the Tigers. Taranto and Miller stay down. Long hits it hard. Rao, he's done everything tonight. Winds it towards goal.
Ben, back to 9. 3 more minutes.
He's had a good game, Noah Bolter. He's been invaluable to them down there.
Towards Dow, kicked a goal in the second term. Whipped out towards Taranto, just missed Dow on the overlap. His eyes, got a nice step on him and a long left boot out towards centre wing. This has been the battle all night. Lynch and Collins, they've been pushing and shoving. McAndrews got involved at numerous times. Morris Rioli on Daniel Rioli, mouth-watering that. Just trapped by 1 foot by Steely Green was impressive. Nearly got Lynch, but good to see the Rioli staying on each other again. Morris comes through and says, how about that? Ball looked dead numerous times. Morris Rioli fired it up and kicked a beautiful goal.
What a strange passage of play.
What about the footwork on the far side from Steely? It's like a soccer first touch, it just stuck to his foot. No point going down with the hand. The kick was almost centimetre perfect for Tom Lynch. He just couldn't quite get to it. And Rioli's had some fantastic... So he's the one. Yeah. Just a little right peg just to control it.
I thought...
It was really clever by Tom Lynch, so he couldn't get it initially through the mark, so he's just kept it in. A little depth backhand there.
I thought he gave up on it.
Ben's live play, I'm with you, Dan. I thought he gave up on it too, but at the last moment he realises, doesn't he?
Well, guys, news down here at the moment, both Riolis have just come off with very different, let's just say, how they were greeted by the fans down here. But Daniel Rioli came off, as you mentioned a bit earlier, Dale, he looks really crook at the moment. He's getting his ribs checked out at the moment. He looks very sore.
This is really dangerous now for Gold Coast.
This shot has been checked, I think, Durham. Maybe it deflected.
You reckon the right hand of the defender?
Not an official goal review yet, but there is a pause. It's never good if you're the goal kicker.
Yes, he wants to applaud it. All right, this is a bit long now.
Bit of an idea, but...
This is score review, score confirmed. You can restart play.
So there was a score review, as you heard, and it is confirmed. So he gets congratulated all over again. It's like you've kicked 2 goals.
And therefore he's let it come to the bench.
So the danger now is that the Tigers have got real expectations and hope that they're going to win this.
Oh yeah, they've got it out to 20 points, and once you get belief and things start to turn your way, then anything is possible.
The last time they had belief like this, Hunter, was round 1.
Yep. They didn't win the first 2 quarters in round 1. They're in a much better position tonight. Banks is laid short with the touch off the boot, but it does make it very unpredictable in there. Collins did well, and so did Powell, and now Rao. And they're on their way out, an aggressive line back through the corridor to Ainsworth.
See all the forwards just retreat and allow running players to carry the ball up. No forward comes forward at the kicker.
Now Weller, slider down the line. Humphrey doesn't mark. McIntosh, grizzled veteran, getting close to 200 games.
You're spot on, Derm. So we've got all the forwards leading away because that's where the space is. So the temptation is to work back into the space opposed to presenting back up the kicker because the Tigers are so proactive defensively up in front of their direct opponent.
Which is fine, but you do have to have one coming at the kicker to make the chop change.
Hopper with an up and under style ball. Power stands underneath it and Fall kicked his opening AFL goal early in the first term.
Just has to press pause here.
Green. Now Ross, good build-up. Campbell's coming towards him on the lead. Does pause.
There's a wobbling ball inside. Might have even been touched. Falls to a dangerous area. Campbell, Flanders, Ralph Smith. Ralph steps through traffic. Possession number 22 to Hewlin.
It's a quick one out wide for Humphreys. Up against Banks.
Tim Taranto also up to 22 disposals. He only had the 7 kicks. A lot of his hard work's been done inside. 14 of those 22 have been contested for Tim Taranto.
Banks up to 12 possessions. Humphrey has 6. Ball wheeled back into play.
Quite the contest between Nankervis and Witts. Witts has got him by about 10 centimetres, but 2 big-bodied ruckmen.
Anderson squeezing a quick kick forward, but short. Drops into short circuit that. Tigers extending their lead to 20 points at early stage of this, the third quarter. Kicks it high and hopes for Lynch, but he's toppled over and he's going to get a free for it against Sam Collins. Experienced umpire in charge, Brett Roseberry. Hasn't been a night for the key forwards.
I reckon Sam big time initiated this. Look in a second. It's like he leant into him and Sam clung on to him, dragging him to ground.
4 goals, 2. Missed that game of suspension earlier in the season. So, and also added to that, as you can see, with one earlier tonight. But right here and now, how valuable a straight, long kick is for Tom Lynch. His second, Tigers by 26. Let's go back in time to 2020. Nick Del Santo, this is the incident that we talked about earlier tonight.
Well, this was the history. So we're going back nearly 5 years. This was Sam Collins post-game. This has been the battle tonight. Been at each other. It's been a great contest when the ball's been in the area or not. And you're spot on, dude. Lynch does initiate that contest, which is perfectly fine, and as a result, Collins has to bring him to ground with that body contact.
Game high, 26-point margin the way of the Tigers. 7 at quarter time, 14 at half time. They've kicked the last 3 and the only 2 of this term.
You're both holding, actually.
Sammy Collins is a more grislier looking unit this time around now, isn't he? The big beard and
yes, he's
a ferocious looking man.
And Curvis pokes it forward. Lawler, the don't argue. Hopper gets away from Weller. Trezise throws it on the boot. It'll go out wide. Ball. Not quite.
How good were Hopper's hands there? He didn't know he was about to be tackled within a half a second, but he was able to hold the ball up above his head and just still get clean hands to release the ball. A real art, a real technique involved there.
Straight back, straight back.
Big scratch mark on Sammy's neck. I wonder if that happened in play.
Miller spirals it off the flank towards the wing. Miller. And it goes out of bounds in front of Jed Walter.
Only the one possession, which was a shot at goal for Jed Walter. Ethan Reid, his partner, out forward. He's only had the one possession as well.
13 minutes gone in a tense third quarter. Back away from Green, back over the boundary line.
There you go. Listen, you see that? That could be from the fights they've all. That's a big scratch down the neck, isn't it? That's what happens when people try to headlock you and the likes.
Playing against Wolverine.
It won't bother him. He's a ripper.
Away from Hopper, and Curvis dumps it back with the former Giant. Instead, Wicks now hands it off to Rao. Slapped forward by Weller for Flanders. He's waited the kick for long again. He's not out of it, but extra opposition for Suns.
So I'm watching the forwards and not watching the ball come in. Long is the only one who gives movement. At the moment, there's too many deep, and it's like, I'll look sideways, I'll look forward. Will I be able to lead? No, I've got a teammate and his opponent there. So they become stationary. Long says, no, I'm going to go out to the pocket on a lead, so he draws the footy.
Wits first hand. Rogers doesn't need much of an invitation, but Dow cleverly done back across the line. In reverse bolter. Another rush behind, so at 3 goals 10. It's had 5 rush behinds for the night. Banks.
McAndrew taking some nice contested marks on the turnover this evening to Powell. Wants to go through the middle. Flanders needs to stand up. Lynch, can he get it out to a teammate? Flanders grabs out of his legs, almost throws it forward. Miller does beautifully to pick up. Jeffrey steps through trouble. Run on by Graham. He's got Weller out on the wing with a little bit of space to inch it forward. And big Jay Wicks marks. 40 out there.
So, once again, it's the forwards that are down there. That's a very inexperienced forward line with those 2 boys we mentioned, Reid and Walter. And so Witts has gone down there to try and drag Nankervis out of the intercept zone. And he says, well, I've got space up the centre. I can go get on the lead. And he draws the footy.
Witts. Bring one back. He leans on it. Not quite.
3 goals 6 from set shots. It's really mounting now.
I'm subbing out one of their tall forwards within the next 5-10 minutes, or this is going to get real dangerous.
So you're talking Reid or Walter?
Yep.
Ryan and Hewlin tangle, play on, fall. Just had to make a contest. Graham subjected the tackle.
How do you speak about those set shots? They had been the number 1 team from set shots per game, averaging 70 as Nick Holman waits his turn.
It gets you in the end, Bill.
It does.
Before the accuracy goes. They kicked 4 goals from free kicks tonight, and that helps.
Well, Derm, what Holman will give you is a contest, won't he? He'll attack the ball in the air, on the ground. And they're just not getting enough from their 3 talls right now. So you're right, they need to make that change and make it quickly.
And the thing is, if they're not marking the ball, you want somebody who's effective at ground level.
Well, those talls have only taken 1 mark for the game inside forward 50.
Yeah, that's not
nice trigger just yet. Nicely done. Just press to Nankervis. Oh, there's an open Tiger at half forward. It's sliding Dow, who kicked his 2nd goal in AFL footy earlier tonight. Flares it out wide, and we know this guy can kick it 50 metres comfortably, Jaden Short. Hasn't been amongst the goals as much of late, but back when the Tigers were flying and he was the best and fairest in one of those premiership years, he would often be the little handoff guy running past. Not him, then Dan Rioli. Now he's...
Nick Boston just said, how about handoff to me?
No goals.
No.
Hasn't kicked a goal this year.
Grip this even to the boundary, he'll get the distance.
It's straight. Now, the carry. The carry is good. How good? David Roden says, that good. And Richmond lead by 30 points against the unbeaten Gold Coast Suns. How good if you're a Tiger? It's all about the Bunnings build-up this time.
Well,
Beautiful kicking there, wasn't it?
They plotted their course. This is very calm and composed. You see Jaden Short to the right of screen, just drifting down as a halfback. So they don't want to bomb it deep once again. They've tried that avenue, it didn't work. And they know the range of this young man. It's a pure strike,
isn't it? So just on that lever, I'm pulling that real soon on the sub.
Yep.
They're 5 guys. They've got to kick 6 to win. They've only kicked 3 in 2.5 quarters of footy.
Tigers out in the last 5 to a game-high 30-point margin against the undefeated Suns. They're running on top of the ground. Hopper squeezes back, confidence through the corridor. Taranto, then they drive it deep from short. Fist comes, Hewlin throws himself hardly at the footy. Ainsworth overruns it. Nankervis, Campbell, no look hand pass. Taranto squeezes it forward. Taranto's nailed it. 6 in a row for the Tigers. David Roden with a big smile. And they are out now by 6 goals.
Do not discount the play that big man Curvis has on this footy. Watch, there's a little bit of a... this is a wonderful kick too, coming back in here. But watch the big body of the resting man Curvis forward. So this goes over, bang, comes back, a knee forward from Ainsworth. Watch, look, it stops Ainsworth from going on and collecting that ball. Without that big body coming at him, he gathers that, holds it in.
Now this is just stunning. They've kicked the last 6 goals. Just to say it's their biggest lead of the game. It's out to 36 points. Gold Coast have no answer at the moment. 10-5 to 3-11. And Reid in the ruck, beaten by Ryan. Miller got first hands to it. Taranto willing himself. Skidding it forward. Miller handled that pretty nicely. He didn't take possession, so he put the tackle on. And looks like they're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, you've got to pull that now. You've got to change something. Otherwise, it's going to keep going like this.
Reid's in the ruck, so I wonder if it might be Walton. We'll wait and see, or maybe it's someone else.
It'll be one of those two. You run Reid flat and let Witsy go, and one of those two that stays on get a little bit in the last 40 minutes.
It's a Richmond ball again. Hopper this time. Possession 22, not very close to the man on the mark. So went extremely low. Hard one to handle for Power. Was that in the back? No, it wasn't. And instead we'll have a ball up 40 metres out from Richmond's goal.
Crowd's still not happy with it. They want him for a free kick as well.
With the Suns won.
So would it be silly to throw this man forward at all, or is there already too many tries you still think?
Yeah, you've got to do something. You have to be proactive now. You can't just keep doing the same thing.
Noble, good contest there. Miller wins it, just kills the ball away from Walter. The one thing that's in favour of the Suns, if they are to mount a comeback, is it hasn't been through lack of field position. They are getting the ball inside forward 50. They've had 10 more. It's just been their inaccurate kicking and some of their choices when they go forward.
McIntosh out the back again, playing the Guardian.
Ryan, Reid, Hopper, Rao, Miller, Hopper again. McIntosh, Lynch flies. McAndrew, important hand pass, just missed Noble. Flanders comes back the other way. Power back to McAndrew, started the chain, looks at Butterick. He's going to be battling with Trezise on the outer wing. Butterick bashes it in front of himself. And Doom, I reckon you've got a direct line to Damien Hardwick's coaching box. You might have got exactly what you wished for.
The boy who came up, Reid, was it?
That is Reid.
Yeah, that's what you ruck him for the last little bit you can to give Witsy a bit more of a spell. Witsy's back in there now.
It's Ryan, Miller, Anderson tries to release Rao. He's got Rioli on his hammer. Rogers steps. Watch out, Rioli! Gets him, nails him! Kills him and gets the free kick.
What a display of tackling by this young man today. He had 4 at half-time. And they are bloody meaningful tackles too, aren't they? They've got something in them.
Had to bide his time to get a Guernsey this year, despite their inexperience, but he's having a huge impact. Taranto received it from Ross. It's a chaotic ball, a hard one to contain, but well done by Collins. He got the jump that time. And he plays it to McAndrew. I wonder, as Moon said, whether he might get swung forward, given his heroics here. The last time that the Suns were at Marvel Stadium after the siren went against Essendon, of course. At the back, Bolter reaching down a long way. Able to break away from King. He gave it to Ross. And there was run and there was a plethora of options. McIntosh was one of them. And now the charge from behind from Broad, who says to Campbell up ahead, I'll put it out in front and you just run for your life. He got an awkward bounce. Stand back now with Noble. They argue and still he got around. Pops it into the pocket. Lynch a step off the pace that time. Well done, Collins.
He's just so fatigued. He just couldn't get enough on the kick.
Anderson, centre half back, wants the corridor and flares out a touch wide. Rogers scored away from him. Here's Rowley again. Ross.
How exciting. Yeah. These Tiger supporters, you can see the growth here happening already. Campbell has been good. Green's had his moments. Yeah, you're not going to come up this year and win a final or anything like that, but you're here at the start of the regrowth, aren't you?
Excitement every time Morris Rioli gets around the footy as well. Ross kicked the opener of the second term.
So Nick Holman has just entered the arena. We'll see exactly where he plays, and more probably important to that than what role he plays, Durham.
Yeah.
So last week, Noble took the 15 and then kicked it another 50 to Mac Andrew. Quickly eyes up. There's a number of Suns trying to bolt back to goal, but they have to get past the Richmond defence in good order. And Brown takes it up. Oh, he played on. Ran straight into trouble. Ben King couldn't completely wrap him up. Now Bolter's got issues. Turns away from Walter. Scrambles it out wide. Holman straight into the action. Anderson draws breath. Again, just waiting for the right moment, and that was it to Miller. Mark or free kick. He's paid the frees. A little bit of front-on contact.
Well, it was a brilliant decision and execution by Noah Bolter, because once again, Durham, 3 players forward of the football, all with their arms in the air like they're hailing a taxi.
Yeah.
None moving or coming back up at Noah Bolter to make the kick a little bit more simple.
But now it's Tuke Miller, who's so closing in on 200 games. He's become an impact player in the front half. Needs to kick this one. You can see what's ahead of him. The Tigers are on a hot streak. It had to end at some stage. Tuke Miller steps forward. And at last, a Sun kicks it straight. And that ends a run of 6 consecutive goals from the Tigers.
So this is as much about your starting position. So the Richmond player has to accept that Noah Bolter's under pressure there. The kick's going to be imperfect, so you've got to go, or at least get to at pace where it's most likely going to end up at to make the contest. That's a really good mark under pressure by a big 198 centimetre backman bearing down on you. Trying to make their own environment out there. It's kind of hostile for them out there, isn't it?
It has been. He's one of the ex-captains as well, but still very much a leader, is Tuke Miller.
Witts, Ned Curvis, clever tap. David Anderson, arced away. Has been good all night on Walter.
So suddenly this is a big 4 minutes, isn't it, for the Tigers, as it is obviously for the Suns.
You notice when there's emergency, even though he's given more centre bounce time to other players on the way up, Tuke Miller in emergency goes back in there.
Curvis shoves, Witts. Even with Witts going into the forward 50, which is a little bit unusual for the ruck. They normally sit behind the play, but trying to equalise.
More connection that time from Dan Curvis, but goes close to the line. Shot realising he couldn't take it out. It was like a mark for Lawler up over the top. Taranto, Banks. They scrambled pretty well. Andrew has eyes for the footy that time. And takes the mark in front of Samson Ryan.
He's been pretty good coming forward at that exit kick by the Tigers.
Very close to the net in front. There's leapers from every angle that time. But
Kim again.
Another mark.
That's his best grade.
Back in their heyday, the Tigers, he was just an out. Not that he's old, but they were such a great intercepting team, weren't they? Cross half back with Foster and Grimes and Co.
Walter getting frustrated down there that he couldn't bring the ball to ground. Lynch, and rightly so, Howie. He was coming from about 4 deep, went for the mark instead of trying to just bring it to ground.
They've got to wait for Samson Ryan to at least get up there and give him some sort of target. He's going to outsize Hewlin.
2 deniers. Tommy Hewlin tried to get up for the hanger. Nobles turned it over immediately. Chance again for the Tigers. Lynch off the outside of the foot. He's very clever. Campbell. Wow. 2 grabber.
He knew exactly what he was doing, Howie. He just put the one paw out and said, I'm probably not going to stand under this. Put 2 hands to it, take the punishment, absorb it, and mark it with 2 hands. So he goes past the drop, and flicks it out to himself for 2 grabs.
He's smart, isn't he? We just saw him a couple of moments ago. Just put Noble on skates as well.
He's already kicked one. Famously completed a backflip earlier on the year.
That's going close.
Campbell has absolutely drilled it from range. David Roden again. Signals a goal. That is a big finish after the Suns were trying to come back. Let's back out to 37 points deep in the third. Well, I didn't know he had that kick in him to him. It was a brilliant mark. You called it perfectly. It was sort of outside the line of his body. He had to flip it back to the preferred side.
That's talent.
It is. It's reading the flow of the ball quicker than your opponent.
How good was Layla here as well? Just read the situation. No, that one's not on. I can retreat here. Lovely kick by Tom Lynch. And there's the grab. We're not far off a backflip, a somersault.
Last week was the first time for the season he didn't kick a goal. He's put through another 2 tonight. Seth Campbell, he gave us, of course, the big backflip in round 1. Not sure exactly what that was.
Was that the cake or something?
I was going to say maybe he's cooking. Not sure.
Whatever it is, you do what you like when you kick them like that. Out of the middle, the response from their leaders, Miller and Anderson, Witts and Rao. Doesn't quite reach him. Took a couple out in the path. Ainsworth. The forward handballs continue. Miller. Rioli is forward now. A little maimed. Ralph Smith relieves. Back to the wing. Noble.
He's a good game too.
Yeah, we've seen a bit of this tonight. Possession 22, arcing out to the right. King, from the side, man. Curvis, the big neck.
Sends it out wide immediately, sets a task to McIntosh. Holman, the sub. Budrick tries to close him down. Campbell kick the last off, burns them off. Too quick on the outer side. Forward to Ross. Does he continue on? Wants a target, now goes for home. There's a man deep. Fantastic footy from the Tigers. And it falls in the hands of the young gun.
This is not just going to be a win the way they're going. This is going to be a percentage booster. They are running all over them. They are running them ragged. They're going to increase this lead, Hunter. It's not going to come back.
Looking for a 6th goal for the season. Lawler, Tiger Army, watches on. Pops it home. And the Tigers are out now by a big margin, 43 points. And that man knows his team are under all sorts of pressure. Well, it all started with the intercept mark from Nankervis. Right there, big power mark in front of a couple of the key forwards, Ben King. But then it's not about going slow and maintaining this scoreline. They move up. They get movement on the ball. Ross is sprinting forward. Thought he'd put himself under a little bit of pressure here, but he had Lawler out the back. And that's where that space out the back is your advantage. Work back to the top of the goal square. Uncontested. Tigers on fire.
There's so many components to that passage of play, but I'll take my head off to Seth Campbell again. So many places. I'm about to get steamrolled by Sam Collins, but he calculated it and got past the would-be tackle.
15 seconds remaining. Is there enough for either team? Taranto gets taken down by Miller. That probably puts an end to the hopes of the Suns getting a late goal here. Look at those Tiger fans. I reckon there'd be a few that probably, given it's Easter Saturday night and holiday plans to go away and side's not going that well, I'll just watch on TV tonight. Might be regretting that now. The Tigers lead by 43 points. Curse of marble, they're going to break it tonight. They kicked 6-1 in that quarter. Led by 7 at quarter time, 14 at the half. It's now blown out to 43 points. And it's, well, they are indeed too hot to handle. The Gold Coast Suns unbeaten this year to maintain that record. It's going to have to be one heck of a last quarter. Stay with us on Super Saturday night.
All right, 3/4 time, folks. All I can say is, Tiger fans, stand up and applaud your team. I'll tell you what, is this a team of the future? The way they're playing, I tell you what, the way they're playing, they're coming on in leaps and bounds from where everyone thought they would be at the start of this season. They look like they could be a strong force going forward for the rest of the season. The Tigers, they are looking good. They've got a good game plan happening. Tell you what, their run in their legs is tremendous. And Willie Rioli, I like the way he's playing. I think once he learns a little bit more and composes a little bit more, tell you what, he's got some speed to burn. Willie Rioli, he is class personified, as the Riolis are. Wowee, Richmond. How good have you been today? You have been A+++ today. Your performance has been outstanding. You've given Gold Coast Suns no chance at all in this game, as they say on the commentary. I think this margin is just going to get bigger. You know what? I think they're right. I think the Tigers have got that eye of the tiger. They are going to extend this. I'm sure of that. Can you believe it? 43-point leaders, the Tigers here at three-quarter time. Stand up and applause, Tigers fan. You kick 6 goals, 1 in that third term. The Gold Coast Suns, 1 goal, 2. That shows you the dominance of the Tigers. I tell you what, the Tigers could be a scary proposition if you're going to be playing them in the next 2 to 3 weeks. If they continue this form like this, they look a really good outfit. I must say, they look a really good outfit, and I think they're going to trouble a lot of teams going forward for the rest of the season. Whew, tell you what, there we go. Gold Coast Suns, I tell you what, they're looking just a little bit flat-footed. They're trying to get a little bit of run, but the Tigers' pressure is just shutting them down. The speed of the Tigers is today, as I said, is brilliant. Tigers game, absolutely incredible. There we go. Let's just have a quick look at the goal scorers before we head back down to the ground for the final term. Don't forget to vote who you think's going to win. I tell you what, the votes are starting to poll in now, and it's still 54% saying the Gold Coast Suns. Can we get a few more votes in and get the Tigers up? That'll be interesting. Anyway, for the Tigers, the goal scorers, Tom Lynch, Seth Campbell, the only 2 multiple goal scorers on the ground. They've kicked 2. Tim Taranto, Jaden Short, Ross, Rioli, Ralph Smith, Sam Taylor, Jonty Fall and Thompson Dow, single goal scorers there for the Tigers. Tell you what, there's not many there for the Gold Coast Suns. They're all singles. Took Miller, Ben Long, Ben King, Will Graham. That's all. Disposal count. There we go. Tim Taranto leading the way for the Tigers on the disposal count. Tops the table with 27. Tell you what, there's a few having a good games here. 10 kicks, 17 handballs, 3 marks, 3 tackles, 5 clearances. He's kicked a goal. Took Miller for the Gold Coast Suns. He's had 26, not too bad with 6 clearances in the goal. Matt Rowell, well, he's next best on 24 for the Suns. And then, of course, you've got the next couple for the Tigers. Jake Hopper on 23 and Nick Vlosten on 22. Let's quickly just roll down the board because we are going to be back to Abdul. How you going? Welcome in. Yeah, I think Sportsbet have 3 out of 4 games wrong this week. They certainly have. I tell you what, it's a cracking game. They've got them wrong. We'll have a look and see who's going to be playing tomorrow. Tom Lynch, I tell you what, he's done some good things. Tom Lynch out there today. I've been quite impressed with the way he's played. He's only had the 10 touches, 7 kicks, 3 marks, but he's kicked 2 goals. He flicked a ball back in, which Morris Rioli ran onto and snagged a goal. So Tom Lynch is having a good game there for the Tigers. Also, you've got to be very happy with the way he is playing. Jared Witts continues to try hard for the Gold Coast Suns, a big ruckman with 29 hitouts. Morris Rioli, as I said before, I tell you what, he has an impact on the game, and yet he's only had 8 disposals, 7 kicks. He's kicked that goal. I tell you what, they all got around him and they were all happy that he got that goal. All right, let's roll this back up. Let's get back to the main scoreboard. Let's head back down to the ground. Don't forget to vote who you think's going to win this game. Votes keep on coming in. 51% now say the Gold Coast Suns. 49% say the Tigers. The Tigers are increasing the percentage. I think by the end of this game, the Tigers might be the way the people have voted. Don't forget, folks, if you're there and you're watching and you're liking the coverage, don't forget to give the live. Just give it a thumbs up. Give it a like for me. certainly appreciate that, because we got more football coming your way tomorrow as well. But before we go any further, we have still got a quarter to play. And if you're a Richmond supporter, barrack hard for them, because I tell you what, you thought they played well against Carlton with a victory. This is the best I've seen this Richmond team play. All right, folks, let's head back down to the ground for the bounce to the ball. The Tigers by 43.
They must climb.
Giving Nank a bit of a rest at the start of this quarter.
Right, starting in the ruck. It's manhandled by Witt, so they'll have first play on it. Equal numbers. Long comes out, takes it. Authority marked straight away. There's no one back deep, but now the lead. Well, here's McAndrews gone forward. Spoils, went down Butterick. Flanders, I should say, quickly to boot and puts it through for a goal.
So Moons, you called that. Should you throw him forward? That is the hardest lead that has come up the field from the goal square. Didn't get it, didn't get the ball, but created movement, and then the spillage.
Caused a presence, Dave.
Yes. And he started from behind the line. Yeah, turns into chaos with room around it. So the snap there, when the big long charge at it, it makes the chaos ball on ground, but there's space around, so you're not trying to get a snap from a pack of 16 players. There's 3, 4, 5 players at the most.
Hopper standing Rowell in the middle. Anderson and Ross. Ryan goes to Anderson. Another inside 50. Vlosten has been unbelievable. Look at that for a grab, though. He's been impressive tonight long. He's taken a couple of strong contested marks. And if he just nails this, and they get 2 in the first 3 minutes, just hang on. Well, I know everybody has measured out rotations, when you come on, when you come off.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Curvis needs to get straight back on the ground. That's 2 in a row against Sampson.
Yep.
That was a beautiful tap over the head of Witts to a running midfielder. 1 goal, 1 for Ben Long. Give the Suns a bit of hope. Pokes it home. 2 in the opening minute for the visitors.
2 goals in 66 seconds. I'm with you. I'm thinking you've actually got to say enough's enough. If you get a third one, this is going to be tough to reverse the trend.
So Nank's up out of his seat. He's warming up saying, put me back on.
He's not going to make it out there in time.
No, he won't. They're very structured with their rotations, given the cap.
They've got a lock on here, the players under the hands.
It's another great grab by Ben Long. Get a hell of a season again.
Surely you've got to be adaptable and just get the captain back on. In no time at all, the margin cut from 43 to 31.
Good try.
Ryan does well. Gets it straight down to Taranto. Ross hunted down the wandering footy and now gets it back from Precise. Too wide for Green, but it's over and out.
That was better by Sampson. He took the space of Witts and didn't allow him to have a free tap to advantage.
Couple of deep breaths in the coach's box. Crowd hushes. Ryan breaks even. Maybe even better. Got it to Lawler. Eric overruns it. You can see the aggression of Holman just barging his way through and out the other side. Rao to Rioli, the ex-Tiger, accompanied by the Hoots. The good kick though. Well, it takes off immediately, and there's an open path forward. Miller towards Andrew. Even deeper into the pocket to Holman. He goes to, in fact,
him down.
It's Walter. Thumping down the ground.
Quick ball movement. Gets it deep in there. It's a 2v2.
Miller grasping, giving away the free. So we've discussed all night how difficult it's been for the tall young Suns. Jed Walter, only 1 disposal until now. But wow, what a kick it was! 3 goals in 4 minutes, and it's back to 25. And suddenly, it's a sullen Richmond cheer squad. A nervous Richmond cheer squad.
So he was forced into that, given the pace of the ball movement and the vulnerability they had out the back. The Suns have had 11 disposals this quarter for 3 inside 50s for 3 goals straight. And Nane Curvis remains on the bench while everyone else is interchanging.
Andrew looks dangerous forward.
Yeah, but he's kept King off the ground. So he hasn't been on in this last quarter, so they are a little bit unpredictable now. And it's allowed Walter to run anywhere in the forward line.
Things turn to meditation to calm himself down. He can't get out there.
Big clearance to be won here.
Oh, that's as big a miss as we've seen. It's good umpire.
43-point margin it was, 3-quarter time. Flanders Long and Walter have cut it back to 25 points. Ball to be won. Hopper has got a couple of issues dumped into the ground by Rao. Intensity goes up. Anderson, Ryan does well. Rao gets him high. So there's a win for the Tigers. Lynch is deep as he's fallen Rioli.
Got Lawler coming off at the moment, guys. Looks very sore.
Keep an eye on that, Moons. Fist from Powell. Lynch to a dangerous area. Tries to get through. Drops it. Lucky not to be penalised. Noble been great all night. Out to Butterick. Going to be under pressure. Got one to touch high. Works through 2-3. Big trouble. Rioli stopped. He thought it was a free kick. Goes to Lynch and shins it to 4 Gold Coast Suns. And they live to fight another day.
Well, there's a number of interesting non-calls, wasn't there, from the umpire there. And Floston.
So what you got to do now is Tom Lynch has to get under this and Fall has to skim across.
Kicks to even numbers, kicks to Lynch. Fall made the contest. Rioli keeps it in and charges on. Holman's no mark, obviously. Powell flips it to the outside. Butterick in front of Holman, who charges off, gave it to Witts. And then to Miller. Opens up, and they can run the wings. Holman keeps on coming. Leads a main, and Mark is juggled successfully by Broad. Suns' 2 biggest ever come from behind wins, both 28 points. And the biggest ever in AFL footy is 45, so this is close to record-breaking stuff if they could do it from 3-quarter time, that is.
If they can get it in the hands of Morris Rioli, the Tigers, things will happen. He nearly stripped that from the boundary line. Taranto, Ryan lumbers after it, scoops it forward. Butterick with the tackle.
Well, Morris is so dangerous offensively, but he's also been the #1 pressure player in the game to this point. He's also had 7 tackles.
One of those players, Dale, when he gets around the footy, you just start smiling.
Yes, it's enjoyable.
He's got him again.
Gets away from Rao, not an easy man to tackle. 25-metre forward hand pass, Humphrey. Tries to get it back over the top. It's a throw. Tigers will take the advantage. They have taken it, so they need to go down. Forced to just kick up and under. Witts is back in the gap. Now Hewland. Now pass it to space, if anything. Holman was being held. Well up. Number's going for the Suns. They still just scrappily move it forward. Hewland. Back by hand now, Weller. Wants to clear the area. Here comes McAndrew from behind. Just collapsed into the pack. Got to be against the big fella.
So the thing is with McAndrews now, and he's the main target, they don't want straight line footy. They want the ball to come in off the line between where the ball is and the goal. That imaginary line, they want to take it off that and give McAndrews a chance to use his athleticism.
Tigers risk averse if they can. Down the line went Miller, but one back. Butterick received the hand pass. Drops the kick up to the wing. Boston, can he get away from Andrew? Well, not really. At least he got the footy away. Holman, another tangle with Tresize. Up against the chalk. Holman prevails conclusively. Then has to find his left boot. There's another wobbly number up to the 50. Reed stumbling forward, no whistle that time. The Tiger ball, but only momentarily. Hanks now has to go and try and retrieve the situation. Walter does well to get it in the hands of Miller, and they get a little closer, and the pressure grows a little more. Long can't mark. Weller feeds it back. They were queuing up. Anderson, Ainsworth had a little look and kicked. With a point only. The pressure, it is mounting. 24 points now.
So a let off.
Dorado comes off. Moons, young Layla, he's up. He's not too hurt. He seems like he's still able to take his position when ready.
Look, I'm just not sure what's going on down here with him at the moment. He doesn't look great. Traynor, he's doing a lot of warming up at the minute.
What about Nankervis? I mean, he's been off for 9 minutes.
We're about to tick over 10, Hutto. Holman's giving them something. Trezise takes on the tackle of Holman. He's really had an impact since he's come on the ground.
The only thing from here that possibly could have been in their structure is he plays out the remainder of this quarter. He cannot come from the field again, Nankervis.
Play on.
Miller. Out of the pack. Jeffrey. Ball forward. Walters at the back. Here comes Andrew. Gets away towards Weller. Ground level ball, trying to get it out to Ainsworth. Well done the Tigers. Campbell working deep in defence. They want to move it quickly. Ralph Smith. Oh, good mark coming back with a fly. That was power.
That was courage.
That is crazy brave and tough.
Immediately on to Noble. Sends it deep. Mac Andrews got a tremendous leap on him, but the Tigers have been good in defence all night, clear it.
See, it's a penetrating kick and it's going to what we call a dangerous spot, but it's not what Mac Andrews wants. He wants that ball to be kicked 25 metres away from him.
Nankervis finally got on, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Moons.
He's forward to the footy now.
Defend and defend here. Richmond. Miller in and out of his hands. Ainsworth, who missed that last shot for goal. Weller turned at just the right moment. Spurts away. This would be some goal. No, it's not. They're still from behind. 100th game as a Sun tonight.
Mac, you coming?
I'm letting Bolter kick that in. He can hit the wings with that. Play on and just kick the cover off it.
It's 3-2 to nothing for the quarter. Back to 23 points now. It's very doable.
A long time left on the clock. City side ball. Jeffrey worked his man underneath it. Butterick chases it back. To Hewlin, who's been impressive. Stepped into a bit of trouble. Saw Rioli, thought, I'm not taking him on. Down the line ball. Humphrey does well. Can do the mercurial things. Lopes it up high. Bolter's got front position. Could have marked. Elected to spoil under pressure. Falls to Miller. Another shot on goal. Ainsworth, it's a high floater. Vlosten will stand underneath it. He has been unbelievable tonight as Nick Vlosten, and again, he repels the Suns.
That is brave.
And his 26th disposal might be a little strong.
Umpires have called no. Yep, the umpires made that call early. He was a legitimate target coming out. Hugo Ralph Smith.
Go, Toby.
Tigers continue to ring the changes. Ben King waiting to get back on for the Suns, as is Rioli. Nankervis down to McIntosh. Ross around the footy. Didn't rush. Got it to Campbell and back to McIntosh in a tight squeeze. Can Rioli jump up and spoil at least? No, he can't. Steadfast.
Might hurt himself.
It was Jeffrey. Cramping at the least. Short to Noah Anderson. Rioli's going to come off for a little bit of immediate treatment given the proximity of the bench. So the Suns skipper, he's waited the kick. It's all right to Hewlin.
He's a big kick.
Gets forward 50. Hewlin. Top of the square. Humphrey. Bolter. Jumps up and takes the mark. The pressure telling on everyone.
This is an intriguing matchup with Andrew and Bolter because they're both launching at the football like they're the target.
It's great.
Bolter, it's a massive roost. City side wing down towards Ryan. Stands up in the contest. Jeffrey just lopes after it casually. Steps around Lynch. Gee, it's a casual ball straight to Campbell. Could hurt him on the turnover.
Just got to wait for some numbers.
Now they come and he's turned it over. Important hands in from Anderson. Can he get away? He does. Now Butterick. He'll have Campbell for company. Some interesting possessions in the middle of the ground. Rioli needs to turn around and give it back, or to be 50. And turnovers from both sides.
Thompson Dow, I think he's got a cramp in there.
Preston just telling him to take a bit of time off. It was 43 points. It's back to 23 points.
Outside 5.
Broad happy to come back to Bolter.
I forgot how big a kid Noah Bolter is. He's Ben Grahamish at the moment, isn't he? He's given it 70 metres.
There's a huge roost out on the wing, and again, just launches to Samson Ryan. Good contest in the air. Anderson, Flanders. McIntosh protected it well.
I can't remember a display like this for a long time, dude. Just massive kicking every time.
Yes, well, we're getting aerial contest. The one thing is the Tigers, when the long ball goes to the wing and they get representation in a marking contest, they're getting no ground level representation.
Flanders back to the wing to a contest. Humphrey made that. Here's Bolter again. It won't be easy to kick this one too far. Screwed it around the corner, aimed at Tresice. Or Taranto. We'll have to get past it away from Rao. And now the numbers thicken up around the field.
Well, that was Ben King that was putting some pressure on Noah Bolter. He's just come from onto the field. 14 and a half minutes he's had on the bench for, Ben King.
Some interesting explanations about all of that in the post, but for now we've reached the midpoint of the final term. The Suns are making their push. They had Curvis with the handoff though to Tresice. And a ring of Rosie, but he gets the handball away to McIntosh. Slap dash kick goes high. Suns well structured. They mark to Jeffrey, so Collins handballs to Rioli next in the chain, and Butterick calling the shots from back there. Gave the Tigers a look. The jumper is Brown. Now he handballs. Gets it back to Ross. Lovely skimming ball. And straight away Lawler has taken the mark, and he will take the responsibility.
That was really good by Brown. He had the outside edge covered, which was his direct opponent. Saw the ball going back through the corridor.
But he read the eyes, didn't he?
Made
Would have been
priority.
easy to retreat and just go play safe and just stay with your man, so your man doesn't do the damage, you don't get in trouble.
This is a massive kick. Sam Lawler, #1 draft pick. So much about the long term and the future for Richmond. But this kick is for the here and the now. And he's just missed it wrong side of the post.
You notice he just poked at that. I mean, not saying that's the wrong kick. If that's how he kicks it, fine. He just caressed that through for 50.
I wonder if they have to kick a goal to win this game or not.
Hewland launches it right to the middle of Marble. Good contest here. Bolter and King. Falls to the ground.
So one thing's for sure, Howie. Damien Hardwick thinks he can't win if he's playing 3 key forwards. You'll only have 2 marking players on the field at any one time now.
It's Andrew and King at the moment.
Good boy. Good charge at it. Really good. Brave.
And then structurally, from an Adamuse perspective, they haven't put a number behind the football. So we've got...
Oh, they're playing the game, aren't they?
Yeah, they're playing one-on-one. They're doing it the right way.
Tresice has been good all night to Taranto. Coming up for 31 disposals, only led by Miller with 32.
17 contested as well. What a ball.
Hopper. Little chipper into the pocket. Clean bowls, everybody.
7:28 now. So they need 4 goals to tie it up. And the footy is at the wrong end of the stadium.
Right, once again, McIntosh out the back of the stoppage.
And Curvis. Rao. Hard even for him to find a way out of there. Just gummed up by the Tigers at the moment.
See, I don't like that. If I'm the Gold Coast Suns. See, Jeffrey's going to get absorbed in here and leave him out there.
And Curtis barges to the outside. Steely. It's a behind. It's a useful one.
They all count. They all help right now.
Well, it takes it above. It's now 5 shots.
You've got to kick 5 goals. You've got to kick accurately 5 times.
Still haven't used their sub. Trainer, the Tigers. Shove in the contest. Pops up. Rioli does well. Strong in the contest. Long's going to be outnumbered. Broad stands on him. Fisted down to Brown. Clever hand pass back in board. They move it along the wing. McIntosh somehow got boot to ball. They continue to move it forward. They've done well, the Tigers. Hewland keeps it in.
streaks away. Hand passes straight to Taranto, who's got men in the middle if they can access. Now they're a chance. Ball runs inside. A little bit too much on the kick. Green, nimble around goal. Collins will come out. Needs to get rid of it now. Sits on top of it. Lynch. Wits. Lynch goes again. Stands up. Has it for a long time. Probably too long. So now the Suns going to have to play perfect football off the half-back line.
6 minutes to go. Buttering. Eyes up. Long kick to a one-on-one. King, nicely timed shove.
Got a bit of a limp up, Mac Andrews. I don't know if he can make this.
Runs around. Andrew holds long. Desperately has he marked it. He has. The ball was against him as he lost his footing. But somehow he willed himself to the drop of the football. And again, Gold Coast forward hopes resting on Ben Long.
Well, structurally, from the Suns, I'm isolating Ben Long forward 50. Get everyone else out of the way. He's the most likely forward of the footy.
He's their only multiple goal kicker on the night, and he's their great hope. He bangs it through. He's kicked his third, and they're still in it. The silence says it all.
So if I'm a target supporter player now, I'm alerting the umpire that as long as he's bleeding from the mouth, he should go off and get that check. The blood rule, he can't stay out here. He uses everything he can. He's just so desperate, isn't he?
What a great man. It's like a baby crawling after his dummy there, and Long was exceptional effort. Fantastic. He's kicked 3 long and it's back to 19. It was 43 at three-quarter time. Suns have kicked 4 goals to 0 for the Tigers. Nankervis throws himself at Wits. Big clearance coming up. Going the way of the Tigers. Nankervis. Now Taranto. He's had a big last turn. Big match. Fall. Outnumbered. Hewlin. Been fantastic. Ralph Smith. The flying mullet. Gives it forward. Chain of hand pass. They get him. Is it too high? Holding the ball. It's the ladder.
I wouldn't fall for it. He shrugged the tackler up over the shoulders.
See, the second one was interesting. That was a little higher. Noble to Jeffrey. And they're outward bound again. We're down to 4:44. Again, a beautifully weighted kick, but the ball went in and out, and Graham has issues himself now.
That's holding the ball. He's cradled the ball in one arm, and the fact he's off his feet, you've still got to make an attempt somehow.
Tigers fans on their feet. Hard watch for Adam Uze. Suns have beaten them the last 4 occasions. Lawler, 43 points they led by at three-quarter time. It's been whittled away bit by bit. It's back to 19 with 4 minutes 26 now on the clock. Anderson on the forward charge again. Equal numbers in the air, but guess who? Noah Bolter.
Hit the boundary. Kick to the wing. Kick it
Fires
to
and denies. Ben King takes the mark, clears the danger, and finds McIntosh. And now 4 goals required in 4 minutes.
He's had a really good game, Noah Bolter.
He has. Even those contests in this last quarter have been significant. McIntosh hugs the boundary line on the outer side. Falls to the Suns. Rao. Jeffrey, reel up and under ball. King's caught behind Bolter again. Does well to spoil. Miller, Flanders, check side to keep the Suns in it.
Well, Nankervis is going to be the target from the kick in, and he hasn't moved. He's on the between the outer wing. There he is to the right-hand side of your screen, furthest body there. And unless they get an easy short pass to waste time, they're going to bomb it on his head for the contest.
Coach wasn't impressed, but it's available behind because now it's 3 kicks for the draw. Kick goes back to the wing. Witts knocks it the Suns' way. Dow did the same for Richmond. It's caught in a tangle under there. Hopper.
They just won't let it out now. If they can hold it in the contest, keep it on the inside, waste time, get a rebound.
Ruckman lock up. Ashford by Anderson, ready and waiting was McIntosh. Off to Hopper. We're at that stage where every kick, every handball so vital. Taranto and Hopper, they're constant, and then to half forward. Lawler. Instead it's Rioli, and it's Holman, and it's Rao, and it's the Suns' turn with 2:53 to go.
That's confusion.
Rao plays on, sends it deep. King, Bolter, massive contest. Spills to the ground. King, Flanders missed his last opportunity, centering ball. Anderson has to go. Ralph Smith, hair flying, clears it. Now Broad, Tiger fans up and about. He gives up 20 metres.
Maintain possession though, Howard. It's a great decision. Now the Tigers are going to get an extra number behind the football and try and free up Vlosten.
Play on.
Down to 220. Miller launches it to the wing. Still not home though. Howe takes the mark, has no time. So pumps it straight back where it came from. Bolt is in best position. It's over his head. Dangerous area. Graham runs through. Does he get booted on? I think he does.
Second time.
They're still in it. The Gold Coast Suns. Clock stops 1:56. 2-goal margin.
He ran himself under it. Noah Bolter, who's had a ripping game. Watch him run himself underneath this. The turnover here. Fantastic mark by Will. Yeah, Will Power, super. And a penetrating kick to the pocket. Traffic is drawn. Watch Noah. He's loose. He's misjudged it. He's run himself under it. 1 strike, 2 strikes.
Umpire going to deem that was not a tackle or not an effective one. So they got it on the second tap-in. So huge centre square bounce. They kicked 2 goals, the Gold Coast Suns, for the game out of the centre square.
5 goals to 0 for the term.
Under 2 minutes, 2 goals, very possible. High contact, no time to stop. Weller inside to Long, dangerous again. He's on the move, Flanders, back outside. Noah Anderson knows how to kick a match-winning goal.
Oh, that's dangerous. Oh, that was very dangerous.
Now the win is on. 2 goals for the win with 1:34.
McAndrew famously kicked one after the siren and sent the Bombers last year.
Watch that. That could be, yeah, that's not good.
Tigers need a mark here and they can hold things up. Nankervis or Lynch is their man. Wicks to ground, fall. You'd be happy to see the line. Valuable seconds tick off for the Tigers.
So expect, from a Tigers perspective, keep this in nice and tight. Get your midfielders to the chest of the ruckman. Nothing outside this initial contest.
McAndrew is the deepest forward for the Suns. Nankervis follows instructions nicely. Taranto, Witts, Weller, they're pushing it forward. Just willing it at the moment.
Well done, Tigers. Well executed. Don't let that ball out. Nothing goal side.
So the one they need here, the Suns, Toot Miller is the organiser. He's got to actually take control here.
Adamuzay hoping that his defence can be strong, that right decisions can be made. Quick kick out of there by Dow. It's going to come back though.
Yep, that's paid by both umpires.
59 seconds. Noble crowded forward 50. They need a mark and they need it soon. King's at the back. Bolter, Vlosten. There's enough experience back there for the Tigers and they hold them at bay again. 49 seconds now. Tiger fans, it's been so hard to watch, but now they're getting so close. Back towards the boundary line again. Banks takes it over. 43 seconds on the clock.
17 Tigers in the defensive 50 trying to swarm this contest.
Where's it going to come from for the Suns? Eyes on Rao. Hopper with that watching brief. At the back, Witts goes for Weller, but it's Lawler. Refuses to get rid of it until he can find a teammate in the nick of time. They're out again. Collins knocks it back. Ralph Smith. The Tigers might just about be home.
Noble picks it up, sends it back the other way, down to 24 seconds.
The Tigers hanging in there. Giving up 5 in the last turn. They led by 43. Nankervis. Lynch. Tiger fans out of their seats. Lynch moves it forward. Campbell got 9 seconds on the clock. Can he do something amazing? He goes back in board, Campbell. Towards Dow. Now back towards Ross. Stands up in the tackle. The Tigers hang on. They give the Gold Coast Suns their first loss of the season. It's a brave win for the mighty Fighting Tigers. Richmond by 7 at quarter time, 14 at half time, 43 at three-quarter time. The Suns kicked the last 5, the only 5 of the term, but Richmond hang on by 11.
I was going to say, Harry, despite not kicking a goal in the last quarter, they have hung on for a truly memorable win. Obviously, not everyone's agreed with the decisions they've made as a club during the week, but boy, this win is so admirable. They are an incredible football club. Let's get to Moons.
Well, Nick, it's nice to hear the song again, mate, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Long time between drinks. Hopefully it's not too long again, so it's good.
Well, tell us about this victory. This young group, we talk about young groups, they're inconsistent, we know that. But when they put it together like they did tonight, how exciting is it?
Yeah, definitely. We've been good in patches. We're equal with Freo halfway. Week before half-time as well, we're going right. So when we put 4 quarters together, the kids are exciting. I saw a few more ones tonight, so it was good.
What about yourself, mate? You've come off a broken nose. You might have to get your nose broken every week because an outstanding first half in particular. You must be very proud of that.
I was pretty cooked. Between the nose, I've been sick all week, so I couldn't breathe, so I had no tickets left in that second half. But
so cop one late?
Cop one what? So, Longy got me a little bit, but it was all good. It's good.
What does it mean, though, for this young group, just to get these little wins along the way, just to keep ticking them over?
Yeah, it just builds belief. As I said, we've been into halfway and then we just fell away. Last week it was 1 quarter that cost us and all of a sudden it was a 10-goal loss. So when we put 4 quarters together, just gives them belief, gives us motivation during the week. And Gold Coast was undefeated, I think, so yeah, it gives us huge belief.
Noah Bolter back, it's always nice.
Yeah, he's good. His voice was unbelievable. Even if he's not in the contest, just his clear voice tells one of us to go. So I have a lot of confidence with him inside. So it's good to have him back.
I'll enjoy it, mate. Deserve it.
Thanks, mate.
The Suns were playing for top spot, but they lose for the first time this year. They played 1 less than every other team, of course, going into the round, apart from Essendon. We saw some great scenes between the Riolis pre-game and their together post-match.
I think in a full game, that's the most exciting I've seen Maurice Rioli play. I mean, some of the dance highlights as well when he got around players. It was wonderful to see.
Let's get back to Moons.
Well, Timmy, we were just having a bit of a laugh. Did you feel like you had the legs there late in that last quarter?
No, not really, to be honest. I knew they were going to come, but not like that. So credit to them, but well done for us for holding on and played a great brand pretty much all game, other than the start of that fourth. But yeah, it's good.
Talk to Nick about. We're talking about young groups. You obviously clearly got one of the youngest groups in the competition, but you can be inconsistent. We've all been in those groups, but how fun is it when they all put it together on a night?
Yeah, I mean, we have been pretty good for like 3 quarters most weeks, and it's usually that 1 quarter that lets us down. But I mean, everyone's having a crack, and the buy-in's as good as I've seen. So I'm pretty confident we're in the right track.
Tell us about this group right now. Again, they get these wins along the way. Just how important is it to get them? For these young guys, you're going to get beaten by big margins, and you have been, but to get these, what does it do for a young group?
Huge belief and trust in the process. I mean, we were meant to be 0-23 this year, so done 2. Hopefully we can get a few more, but yeah, it's unreal. I mean, it's the best feeling. That's why we play footy, and hopefully we can win a few more.
Your own form tonight, mate. You absolutely starred tonight. You absolutely brilliant. Just talk about the middle of the ground. You had massive matchups with arguably one of the best midfield groups in the competition.
Yeah, I know we did. I thought it was a good challenge for us, and I thought we stepped up. I mean, we've been knocked about the last 2 weeks, us mids, so it was a good challenge to come up probably one of the best mids, and I think we did pretty well. So yeah, it's good confidence booster for us. And yeah, just exhausted, to be honest.
Go and sing the song, brother.
And to Tim Taranto and Cameron.
Yeah, had a fantastic game. Tim Taranto, 35 disposals, 18 contested, and Adam Uzo, that's been under the pump for the last month. What a way to respond. It started with that midfield group. As most victories come from, you got to get the midfield right. The clearances roughly even by the end of the day, but it was the contested possession. Suns come into this game as the number 1 contested team in the comp, and they got rolled. They were hard. But the most important thing, Dermot, was for 4 quarters, as both those players have just spoken about. They were able to do it for the 4 quarters. It was a great effort.
Interesting to hear that the time we were meant to be 0-23, so they hear it. They hear the outside guys, and that does so much for Adam Uzo that we just saw a few moments ago. They got Melbourne next week, and the D's had a win today, but they'll go in and think they're a chance to win that. So, yeah, I mean, they're valuable points.
So they look at Adam Uzo and they say, right, his reputation is one of the best, the most intelligent assistant coach in the comp for a few years. But there's a difference between that and a senior coach, and now they're following his mantra as a senior coach. And a win like this, 2 wins like this in the first 6 games for them, they now believe in the mantra. And they're going to lose some games along the way, but they know that the process can be successful if they apply themselves. It's a massive win for this group.
Yeah, they've got the chocolates, and now he's prepared to share them around. So they've got a month coming over the MCG. They might apply to move those games here to Marvel now that they're poking the curse.
Damien Harwick still doesn't like this particular venue. No. But you speak about the game next week, and then a huge challenge clearly against the Hawks, and then a couple of possible victories the fortnight after that. But
look at those 2 warriors.
Yeah, well, we've just, I mean, Moons and the questions that he asked around this young group, but this young group can't grow and develop if they don't have the mature heads.
Yeah.
Floston, Broad, I thought Nankervis when he was on the ground did what he does, and then Taranto and Hopper have been pretty solid for the whole season. Without that maturity and that leadership from the top, these young guys can't do what they do.
So last week I watched Tom Lynch especially, and he looked banged up. He made the description to a couple of my mates. He looked like a big 4-wheel drive that had 450,000 Ks on the clock. He looked banged up. But he tonight turned around and came home with a 14-possession game, kicked 2 monster goals, and was ever present as a present up forward. It's fair to say he's not all that good below his knees anymore. But I was so pleased for him. He's just did a power of work this evening. And he's one of those seniors you talk about. The kids can't learn unless they see that type of effort from that type of champion.
You want something for your young supporters to come and watch too, Dale. Look at Morris Real. He kicked 1, only had 10 disposals, but he's the type of man that drags you along to the field.
And he puts the fear of God in you when you have the football, because you know he's coming from anywhere.
He's a Rioli.
Well, maybe it's the surname. It just has to come with the forward pressure. But it's what he did with the football and a couple of those dance steps and the evasive stuff that we know that he's got. But every time you speak to a small forward, they say, oh, my job is to bring pressure. I have to do that. That's the non-negotiable. Otherwise, I don't get to play. And if I kick a goal, that is great. He ticks those boxes. He is just a fun player to watch, Derm.
So you see Dan Rioli, he's got quick feet and it's power and straight lines and a bit of a veer. This is the first time I've really seen him throwing what I'd call Cyril steps. He's just from a standing start in the middle of congestion. He goes sideways and then they go sideways to counteract him, and he goes backwards and then he goes forward and then he exits in the least likely exit zone. It was a trip down memory lane for some of us.
He did it here on the flank, didn't he? He was the centre point of a square of 4 Suns and somehow fell to ground, got up and still found an exit.
The humorous piece, he wasn't moving. They were all missing him, but he hadn't actually left the same spot yet.
Yeah, it was beautiful to watch.
It's a great victory.
And for the Suns, reflections on tonight?
Not where they've been, particularly ball in hand, but you look at that scoreline, 9 goals, 15. So they had 62 inside 50s, 20 more.
They have 62.
62, which has been a similar theme throughout the course of this year. But the inaccuracy in front of goal is so costly.
Yeah, that's my belief on footy. You go in 56 times, you win the game. If you've got a reasonably functioning forward line, you win the game. So 62, they've got some issues there. But that man as well, Noah Bolter down back, was fantastic.
So they knock over Carlton round 1, then they drop 82 points to St Kilda, 28 to Brisbane, 61 to Freo. They came in outsiders tonight. They led by 7 at quarter time, 14 at half time, out to 43 points. The Suns kicked the last 5, but they hung on the Tigers.
for an 11-point win, their second of the season.
There's a little fella there, number 14. That's Harry. I met him in the lift. It's just fair to say he's got some challenges, and he ran out in the ground, little Harry. Lovely little boy.
First win for Jonty Fall, and here are the Tigers.
Welcome to Super Saturday Live, the Saturday debrief brought to you by the all-electric Toyota BZ4X. For the second time this season, Richmond have pulled off a stunning upset victory, defeating Gold Coast by 11 points to hand the Suns their first loss of the season. David King, Jack Rewald, Jay Clark. This club is 6 games into one of the most ruthless and aggressive rebuilds, and they've already got 2 wins on the board. Jack, what a win.
Incredible scenes for the Tigers, I think, and we put it on the agenda at the start, is that they've been able to put a half of footy together. They've done it sort of last week and then 2 weeks prior to that, but tonight we got the full gamut of Richmond, bar maybe a little bit of Gold Coast nerves there at the start of the last quarter, but I think Richmond come away tonight very happy, and we've seen their young stars come through. We know there's more draft picks to come through, but tonight it was Vlosten, Broad, Taranto and Hopper, Lynch and Nankervis. Their senior core stood up tonight and won a game against their old coach, which no one on this desk gave them a chance of winning, and I don't think many of the football public would give them a chance to winning. So I'm sure they're very happy tonight at Tigerland.
The way they were able to hold on to in those final few minutes, with 5 goals to none in the final term, Kingy.
Well, there's no timeline. There's no one says you can't win at this stage of their journey, Jack. And I marvel at what this club's able to do. I mean, we've seen clubs stuck in rebuilds for 6, 8, 10 years and not have opportunities to perform like this. The Suns really disappointing, and we'll get to them in a moment. But I just love the leadership of Richmond. You know, the big bloke at full forward, Lynch, he just brings so much stability to this forward line. He competes, he starts fights, he gives them a level of investment that they have to match. And I love it. And you guys talking about down back were terrific. Just the leaders of this group, they understand what's happening and they understand that they have to shoulder the load. And the young kids come with them. It's perfect.
It would be validating for the whole rebuild. You know, they lose Baker, Graham, Bolton and Rioli as well. They've already got 2 wins on the board. There was people saying they wouldn't win a game this season. So that's 2 in the early part of the season. You mentioned some of the defenders. I mean, we'll get to Noah Bolter. He's a massive story, has been for a month, and his performance tonight, the importance of that, we'll get to you in a sec, King. He played a huge hand. That defence generally, I mean, Nick Vlosten, is he the most underestimated superstar in the game? He was enormous back there, 15 intercept possessions, 660 metres gained. He just played an incredible game.
It's what you place value in now as a senior player, and I think you're exactly right about Tom Lynch, is that I think that he's relishing the opportunity to be the big brother, father figure of this football club. Like, he's seen success, and he would know that there is very little chance that Tom Lynch will be in Richmond's next premiership side. So what do you place value in? And I reckon that senior core that have experienced grand finals, have got medallions, have got premiership memories, are now starting to create the culture for the next generation to come through. We know there's 6 first-round draft picks there. We've seen Sam Lawler, and we've seen a few others that have popped through for a couple of games this year, but that's what that senior core need to do now, and clearly they're doing it well. They've got 2 wins already.
We're going to hear from your good friend Tom Lynch. He's going to join us shortly from the Richmond change rooms. But I love what you're saying, Jack. It's like giving back to the club. Having all that premiership success and riding that wave with the Tigers, and now it's their turn to give back.
Yeah, you know, it certainly is, and I think the fact that the Tigers have had success for a long time, and they've got a plethora of players that they can lean on, but it was their core group of senior leaders tonight that were able to stand up, especially late too.
Should we bring Tom in?
Oh, yeah.
Let's get into the change rooms. Tom Lynch, congratulations. Take us into the rooms. It must be buzzing at the moment.
Thanks, Kath. Yeah, it's actually nice to come here and get a win. We haven't had too many over my short history of the club, so yeah, it's exciting.
How satisfying is it, and how proud are you right now, knowing that you're going through this aggressive rebuild and you've got your 2nd win of the season?
Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do. We know that. We've had tough 3 or 4 weeks after that round 1 win against Carlton. So we know we've got to keep working hard. But it's just great reward for these young guys. I think Lawler was amazing tonight. I could go on and on, but they've been fantastic since they come to the footy club, and they're really standing up. Hugo Ralsmith had another great game again.
Lynchy, congrats on the win tonight, mate. Tell us about the beef with Sam Collins. It goes back years. You gave
I told him not to do it, mate. Sorry.
He gave him that little tummy slap back in 2020. He hasn't forgiven you. You're right in his grill. Tonight, you guys have got a great one-on-one rivalry.
Yeah, it's good fun. Like obviously he's a great defender. He's been I'm pretty sure he's been All-Australian. He was All-Australian squad quite a number of times. So your work cut out when you play against him. And I thought it was a good battle again tonight.
So if you were giving if we were reading out the referees voting at the end of the day, would you get him on points, do you think?
I don't know. Pup can decide that, but I wouldn't have thought so.
What is the attitude, mate, going into this season? Obviously, been a part of premiership success for the Tigers, and we just said that you're probably not going to be in the next premiership side for Richmond. But how are you attacking this year, and in particularly the games that you're winning?
I was very fortunate to come to the club when I did, and obviously had great success alongside you, and this footy club's been amazing for me. So I'm just trying to perform as well as I can on field, and be a leader off field, and obviously help these young guys. And who knows how long I got left, but I just want to hopefully leave the club in a good spot.
You got ages left, Lynchy, no doubt about that.
Cheers, mate.
Noah Bolter's been a massive story, mate, for all seriousness, and we've all been wondering why is he playing. And he comes out and plays a game like that tonight on Ben King, completely dominated, took the points. The whole back line was enormous. What did it mean to have Noah back in the fold?
Yeah, it's obviously it's been a tough 3 or 4 months, and I thought he was amazing tonight when he came in and played really well. Ben King's been a super forward, and he's been probably the informed key in the comp, and to do a great job on him, I thought it was a credit to him. Obviously, he's done the wrong thing back in January, and he's obviously copped his whack, and now it's just great to have him back.
I want to talk about your coach, Adam Uze. A few question marks after season 1. What's been the evolution in Uze's game plan that we're starting to see?
The game plan hasn't changed too much, to be honest. I think we, as you know, Pub, we were very set in the way we play. And we had played that way for quite a number of years, and it takes a while to change, especially us older guys. We're just in great habits. So I think we've been able to work on that over the pre-season, learn from last year, and we've got a long way to go. We know that. We've only had a couple of wins this season, and as I said, we've had some tough losses, 10 goals plus. So we've got a lot of work to do, but I think it's just shows the game plans, it works. When we can execute the way we can for 4 quarters, and obviously the start of last quarter, they really got hold of us, but if we execute, it works.
Taranto and Hopper, they cop a lot of criticism, Lynchy, and I just think tonight they were enormous. 65 odd touches between them. I thought their clearance work really matched the balls from the Suns.
Oh yeah, we'd be in trouble if we didn't have them. They've been amazing since they come to the club, and I think Hopper's having a great season, and so is Tim. So we went in the game knowing the Gold Coast Suns have got a great midfield. They're probably the top midfield in clearances, and we really scared of them. They went to work in that, and they were amazing.
Tom, are you calling Jack Riewoldt Pumpkin? Is that the nickname?
Oh, no.
What is the nickname you're calling him?
Pumpkinhead. That's a bit harsh.
Pumpkinhead could be a new one, though.
You were calling him Pumpkin.
No, Pup, mate. I want to straighten this up. You obviously spoken about the...
does look like a pumpkin.
Settle down, all right? Settle down. Started something. But you've spoken about the hoodoo at Marvel Stadium. You don't have to leave the MCG for the next month with games against Melbourne, Hawthorn, West Coast and North. What's possible over the next month, do you think, for the Tigers?
To be honest, we've got a 5-day break going into Melbourne. So, to be honest, we haven't looked ahead for them. We know we've got a short turnaround. It's absolute honour to play Anzac Eve, and it's an incredible match, and it's just growing year on year. So, Melbourne obviously had a good win today. They're back in form, so it's going to be another tough battle. And the midfield's obviously their strength, so we've got to bring that again.
I was chatting with Pumpkinhead earlier this evening, and just wondering, Lynchy, how long do you feel this will take before it really turns? I mean, you're at the Suns for a long period of time and had to live through this experience. You've been here before in a lot of ways. Do you see this being more advanced? I know it's very early. There's a lot of kids around the edges, but a win like tonight gives you enormous confidence.
Oh, that's it. It gives you belief, and then it gives you a reward for effort. You come in Monday. we know, as I said, we've got a lot of work to do. We've got to get better. We've got to improve. We're clearly not the finished product, but it just gives you belief and that reward for effort. When we do execute what we do the game plan and bring that energy and fight, or we did tonight, I thought, who knows what we can do.
You mentioned the short turnaround finally. Just your thoughts on facing Melbourne on Thursday on Anzac Eve. Tom, not sure if you're a massive footy head. Did you tune in and watch the Demons today? They were pretty impressive.
I didn't catch much because I was sort of getting ready for the game, had a little sleep. But Freo, we played at Freo last week, and they that second half really handed it to us. So yeah, we know our work's cut out. Melbourne's been a super team for a long time, so we knew they'd bounce back at some stage. And as I said, can't wait for Anzac Eve. It's an absolutely amazing event.
Well, Pumpkinhead did the Demons game, so we'll get him to shoot you some messages.
No worries. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Tom. Enjoy the
Very good, mate. Well done.
Well done.
Well done, Tom.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
We've got to have Tom on more often on Saturday night.
That was terrific.
Yeah. Call you Pup. What's Pup about?
It's just the little. I was the pup. I don't give myself nicknames. Like, you named yourself Jay-Z. I don't give myself nicknames. I have teammates that do that.
Well, we're just giving you one. Pumpkinhead.
Let's see how long it sticks for.
About 12 months.
I think that one's...
Kung Fu fighting in a sec. I can do it.
It certainly started well anyway.
I think Pumpkinhead is surviving 2025. Let's head into the Ashley and Martin turning point. And this rolls up beautifully from our chat with Tom Lynch, because it was your friend Tom Lynch.
Yeah, it was fantastic tonight, Tom Lynch, and certainly this was the first of, a few goals for Tom Lynch tonight, and certainly no love lost here between him and a few old teammates. And I feel like the Tigers just took it straight up to Gold Coast and weren't scared. Like, scouted, and everyone probably thought that they were probably going to get beaten tonight, but this just shows a side that was in for the fight from the first bounce kick.
Well, let's call a spade a spade. They were far too tough for them in the forward 50. There's no doubt about that. +7 contested possessions as a differential, so that's the Richmond forwards versus the Gold Coast backs. When the balls were there to be won, they were prepared to put their head over it, they were prepared to fly and risk their bodies for the cause, and it was evident. I think in the end, Damien Harvey will be really disappointed in some of his key tools and their commitment to contact.
Who are you talking about?
Well, I think Mac Andrew comes under the microscope. I think there's times where he chooses not to absolutely crash a pack. And I know he's an athletic dude and he can get up and he can spoil pure and all that sort of stuff. But there are times when you just have to split a pack. At that size, that's your responsibility. And they didn't. And Richmond chose to be the opposite. I look at the defensive 50 intercept marks. The totals were 12-3. Now, it was Vlosten 6 and Bolter 3. Now, they just destroyed and dismantled the forward 50 at the other end. And it was only a surge run of chaos, really, in the last quarter that got them back in it. So if you want to compare the arcs and the attitudes, Richmond's 10 out of 10. Gold Coast, happy to engage when it suits. 6.5 out of 10.
This is Mac Andrew, who dished it out to Riley Thilthorpe a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
A lot of finger pointing.
Yep.
And then you're saying he's dodged it.
Oh, well, I'll show some vision tomorrow night on first crack, because you need to see the vision to support it. But I'm not saying there are times where you just have to make contact. And when the pack's in front of you, you have to create a spill to give yourselves a secondary opportunity. Jack, this is your role. I mean, you would have done this 1,000 times, knowing you're not going to get the ball, but you're going to give your smalls an opportunity.
The word spill is the highlighted word in this conversation, is that there is a nicety around taking a pack mark, and I think Mac Andrew is a nice aerial player, but he didn't want to do the hard work for someone else to earn their keep on the ground. And as a key forward, he swung forward and played in a key forward, and as a key back as well. There are times when your job is to literally halve a contest. And at the moment, it's either complete loss or complete win.
It's an 11-point result, right? We're not talking about a lot of opportunities you have to create. 3 or 4 more opportunities.
Especially when they've had 62 inside 50s as well.
Yeah.
20 more than Richmond.
Obviously, Noah Bolter played an integral role tonight. He was also a massive talking point during the week, given the assault charge. We'll just take a listen to his first touch tonight and the crowd reaction.
His first possession, the crowd cottoning on. You heard the reaction both ways there.
So a mixture of boos and applause, Richmond fans trying to back their man. How do we all feel watching him play tonight?
It was noticeable, the boos for mine. I'd imagine it'd be unsettling for the player himself. And we know about the backstory. He's sentenced on Tuesday, so there'll be a postscript to this story. But in terms of his performance tonight, I mean, it was pretty extraordinary, really, to be dealing with that and the past 6 weeks to come up and stand up like that in the back line and shut down Ben King, as you noted, Kingy. It was one of the defensive performances of the year, to be honest.
Ben King's finished with 2 kicks. 2 kicks. Like you thought that he would have got 62 opportunities. Yeah. The ball went inside 50 62 times, and the number one targeted forward down there finishes with 2 kicks. He was just blanketed. He was basically rendered useless by the physicality, the sheer size and physicality of Noah Bolter. And they're learning lessons for these guys, but he's past learning this. Like Ben King's at an age where they're expecting him to stand up and deliver like Tom Lynch, not be humbled all night.
I think it's good that Noah Bolter played well, but I stand by the fact that I still don't think he should have played tonight. I get that he's played well, but in the grand scheme of things,
and my discussion's more Ben King.
I appreciate the Ben King one, but I'm still focusing on obviously Noah Bolter. I just think that. Yeah.
And it just shows you why Richmond wanted to play him so much. They think his penance has been served. He's paid his price.
4 points.
According to the Tigers.
They got the 4 points tonight. If they don't play him tonight, they don't get the 4 points.
There's a football club they'll feel validated by tonight, by the decision they've made, because they've faced a lot of scrutiny over it, including from us.
It's a really difficult conversation, isn't it, to have? I mean, we're applauding his football performance, and rightly so, but at the same time, this is a serious charge.
Yeah, and this will be front page news for the next few days, or certainly on Tuesday, seeing what he's got. As I said, maximum 5-year jail term. I don't think it'll be that. It'll be a community service sort of order or work, as we suspect. So this will continue to bubble along over the next couple of days.
But this is the exact conversation. Richmond have put 4 points before the cultural discussion that we have every 3 weeks about football clubs. You know the standards you walk by, the standards you accept, those sorts of things. They have put this victory before that. Now that's the discussion. Whether he plays well, doesn't play well, doesn't matter. We are here to talk about the game, but you can separate the two things. They made a business decision, and they get the tick, they get the 4 points. But are there other side effects that are not yet coming to the surface?
It's a fair call.
Yep. What about the Gold Coast Suns? Where does tonight's results leave us with the Suns, who are hoping to go 5-0 for the first time in club history? I mean, they already were 4-0 for the first time in club history, so suffering their first loss of the season, but it wasn't a great performance, was it?
Well, I've seen him angry. Like that, the shot of him midway through the last.
I've seen him angry.
That's a good. You're right. You have seen him angry than
I've made him angry and seen him very.
So on a scale of.
Don't forget, I ran through.
Pumpkinhead is really.
I ran through a train car park once, Jay. It's not just.
You crawled up over the steps.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how angry do you think he would be tonight?
Boiling tonight. He would really be boiling. I think for the fact that this is a game they should have won and won easily, and also I think for the fact that he has the hoodoo at Marvel Stadium. Like that's followed him now.
Well, dig into that. Why can Damien Hardwick's sides not win under the lid?
Well, they play well at the G, and the G's a bigger ground. So is this the?
It's a style suit his game. There's a ground.
It suits the MCG more, and it suits people first. It's a big ground as well with huge wings.
So why not a Marvel then?
Well, Marvel's a tiny bit smaller. It's a little bit narrower. Sometimes I think this is a bit of a weird one, but the boundary line, the distance between the boundary line and the centre square, they rely on width so much. So players getting out really nice and wide so they can come through the middle and be the damaging Suns. When the boundary line's a little bit closer, you don't get the same width. So you don't have as many avenues, or the avenues aren't as big on offence, and that's been hurting them, and then it hurts them on defence as well.
Would it be a hit to the ego tonight, this loss? How would he be?
How
would he sleep tonight?
He would be filthy. He would be filthy. This is one of the ones where he used to say when we had a loss in a game we should have won, he goes, I don't feel like getting up and going to the cafe in the morning. Tail between the legs, head down. But what he is good at doing is he'll go, they had opportunities tonight, 62 inside 50s, 20 more than Richmond. So this will be a game that he would spin it as the Gold Coast lost.
As we saw, Cameron Mooney was trying to get the Sun skipper Noah Anderson, and he's alongside him now.
Well, Noah, tell us your thoughts, I guess, on the game. It didn't quite work out tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're a proud footy club, and we let them into the game early, and then they really capitalised on their chances when they had them, and we probably didn't. So credit to them tonight.
It was heated early, expecting that.
Oh yeah, I think it's AFL footy. You've always got to be expecting it. I think they probably got the better of us in that. I think we had a couple of boys go overboard a little bit that we could have managed that better. So that'll be a good lesson for us going forward. We've still got a lot of young guys out there that are still learning how to deal with those moments properly. So, but a lot of faith that they'll get that right next time.
Look at all the stats go through there, particularly inside 50. So you had your chances, but going inside, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, like you said, I think we had plus, I don't know what the numbers are, 15, 20 inside 50. So the way we were moving the ball, we were giving ourselves opportunity. But, the way they play with flooding a lot of numbers back, they were able to win the ball back, and our ground ball inside 50 wasn't good enough. So basically they were able to diffuse and then reset and then hit us going the other way. So a couple of things that we'll need to tweak during the week. But, we understand where we went wrong today and we'll fix that.
Contested possession, obviously it's something you guys have been extremely good at and very proud of, I'm sure. Tonight just wasn't the night. Got beaten up around the ball a bit, do you feel?
Yeah. I think across the board probably. Yeah, they got the better of us tonight.
The eye, okay?
Yeah, all good.
How'd that one come about?
Second of the footy, so learn your lesson.
All right, well, good luck for next week, mate. It's been a good year so far. This will just be a blip, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Thanks to Noah and Moon. So the Suns regroup, head home to host the Sydney Swans next Sunday as part of round 7. Now, there's been a development with Pumpkinhead.
Oh, my God.
When are you born, Pumpkinhead?
Me? I'm born on Halloween. Also, the bloke that's throwing me under the bus, Tom Lynch, is also born on Halloween.
There you go.
And then the bloke that's nicknamed me is also born on Halloween.
Perfect, really, isn't it? It sounded a lot like Pumpkin. We need to go back and review.
I can't wait for Halloween, to be honest.
Halloween's going to be fun.
Lucky it's not in season. You're a beauty.
Let's head to a break.
October 31st.
Youth 3, stop. We're heading to a break. We've got to celebrate Melbourne after less fun.
All right, folks, there we go. Well done, Richmond. Had a lot of excited Richmond fans in the audience tonight. Of course, Mark, how you going? Well done out there at Marvel Stadium. Would have been fantastic. Definitely nail-biting in that last quarter, especially the last 10 minutes when the Suns were coming hard. We thought there was a slight chance in the last 2 to 3 minutes. Glad Richmond hung on for everyone out there. HKE, mega love shout out. Great to see you. Good to hear you're doing well. Just the poll, folks. I think everyone got that right. 61% voted for Richmond. Well done, everybody who voted there. And tell you what, it was definitely a nail-biting last quarter. The Suns came out hard. What did they kick in the last quarter? 5 goals, 4. The Tigers could only manage 2 behinds. They certainly had their chances. As they said, Gold Coast went inside 50, 20 more times. Let's just have a quick recap of the goals and the stats for this game for this evening before we wrap it up. Of course, Ben Long for the Gold Coast Suns was the leading goal scorer out on the ground with 3 goals, 1. Will Graham with 2 and single goal scorers to Jed Walter, Took Miller, Ben King, Sam Flanders, and that's it for the goal scorers for the Gold Coast Suns. For the Tigers, Tom Lynch, another great game by him. He kicked 2, Seth Campbell 2, Tim Taranto, Jaden Short, Jack Ross, Morris Rioli, Hugo Ralph Smith, Sam Laylor, John Fulty and Thomas Dow were single goal scorers there for the Tigers. Leading disposal getter on the ground, of course, it was Tim Taranto from the Richmond Tigers. 35 possessions, well done, Tim. That was a ripping game he had with 14 kicks, 21 handballs, 6 clearances. Excellent. We only had 3 players in the 30s. Took Miller from the Gold Coast Suns was one of them with 33. Noah Anderson, 32. Let's just roll on down. Nick Vlosten was brilliant there for the Tigers tonight with 27. John Noble had a good game there for the Suns, also on 27 disposals. We'll quickly just roll down these. So you can have a little bit of a look at the stats. And of course, anyone coming in late or going to watch the replay, listen in, they can check out the stats also. Toby Nankervis was pretty good out there tonight with his 10 disposals, 26 knockouts, 3 clearances. They certainly missed him when Gold Coast were getting that run on in the final quarter. Of course, Nankervis was off the ground, so that just shows you the value he was for the Tigers out there on the ground this evening. Disposal count, well, she was pretty tight, wasn't it? Only 4 disposals in it. And of course, 338 to Richmond. Of course, 340 is their season average, right on target there. Only 4 the difference. So it was 19 kicks plus to the Tigers, but it was the opposite way around. 15 handballs plus to the Suns. Just looking back at that, where is that score? So I'm looking at Richmond's inside 50s, 42 inside 50s for 20 scoring shots. Gold Coast Suns, 62 inside 50s for 24 scoring shots. Now, what hurts the Gold Coast Suns? Have a look at the behinds. You've got to take your opportunities. 9 goals, 15. That certainly hurts when you miss your easy shots on goal. Disposal efficiency, both teams reasonably good there at 71%. Efficiency inside 50, Tigers a bit better there at 50%, pretty good. 38% for Gold Coast. I'll be looking to improve that. Free kicks, well, there was a few given out there. It was a pretty hot game, 23-21, but nothing that changed any aspect of the game at all, so that's all pretty good there. Hit-outs, the Suns by 9. Clearances by 5 for the Suns. Centre clearances, well, the Tigers end up leading the way there by +2. And, of course, stoppage clearances, the Suns +7. Contested possessions, nothing much in that. 8 the difference in contested. 7 in uncontested. Turnovers pretty similar. 66, 68. As were the marks. Not a great deal there. Just 7 the difference there. Of course, marks inside 50. 13-7 Gold Coast Suns. You'd expect Gold Coast to have a few more. They were inside 62 times, 20 times more than the Richmond Tigers. Just looking at the tackle count there now, 54-61. Pretty good on both sides. And, of course, the Tigers bringing that great defensive pressure there. Tackles inside 50, 15-11. But what a fantastic game, folks. Fantastic games. It's very, very exciting. Very exciting for the Tigers, especially going forward. As we stated, I'm just trying to bring up the ladder, see if that's live. Yes, it is. Let me just bring the live ladder over there right now. And of course, with that loss tonight, the Gold Coast Suns remain in 3rd position. Now playing 5 games with still a game in hand because of the missed game through the cyclone. So they've played 5, won 4, lost 1. They dropped about 18%, I think. Or they dropped a fair bit of percent on that game. Could have been 13% they lost on that game. But if we go down a little bit further, Richmond Tigers, well, they bounce up from 17th up to 15th after playing 6 games. 2 wins now, 4 losses. No one expected the Tigers to have 2 wins after round 6, so that's fantastic effort. Can you believe Tigers? They're only 1 game out of the 8. They're only 1 game out of the 8, plus percentage, 8 points for their 2 wins. The Tigers' 8th position is 12 points with 3 wins, so there we go. And I think Tigers have got some games that are very winnable. I think the next game is Melbourne coming up for Richmond, and then I think they've got Hawthorn, West Coast and North Melbourne, which I think they could probably, there's a good chance if they play like they did tonight, they could possibly win 2 or 3 out of those games in the next coming month. There we go. There we go. All right, folks. I just want to recap and check. The games coming up tomorrow, we've still got 2 games on tomorrow. 2 games on tomorrow. And, of course, that is Sydney and Port Adelaide. That's 3:20 Melbourne time. That should be a pretty good game there at the SCG. Following that, Sunday night football, we've got the Western Bulldogs taking on St Kilda. That's at Marvel Stadium at 7:20 p.m. And, of course, the big match on Monday, Easter Monday, of course, at 3:20 p.m. at the MCG, whereas the Geelong Cats taking on the might of Hawthorn. That should be a ring-a-ding-ding game. That's always a fantastic game between these 2 sides. Whew. But I tell you what a game tonight. Well done to Richmond, as I said. For my liking, they put in a four-quarter performance there this evening. They came out with the eye of the tiger from the very first bounce and all the way. Even though it says, if you look on the worm there, they were 43 points up going into the final quarter. They won by 11. Although Gold Coast Suns got a bit of run-on fight, they got the momentum kicking goals. Richmond couldn't quite stop them, but I'll tell you what, Richmond didn't give up. They tried their guts out. They gave 110, 120% in that final quarter. Even though they only kicked 2 behinds, Richmond kept the pressure on as much as they could. I think maybe just through their vigorous running through the first 3 quarters, they might have run out a little bit of legs, but I'll tell you what, the fight was still in the Tiger in that final quarter. So well done to Richmond. I think I'd be very happy if I was a Richmond supporter. For me, it was a 4-quarter effort, and that is what got the job done. They held on by 11 points in the end. Of course, Richmond 12-8, 80, defeating the Gold Coast Suns 9-15, 69. I've got to say thanks to the Tigers because it kept my Magpies on top of the ladder. There we go. So we are happy about that. All right, folks, that's all I've got for this game. We will hopefully see you tomorrow on the next game. And, of course, that all kicks off at 3:20 p.m. Melbourne time, where Sydney will take on Port Adelaide at the SCG. All right, folks, until then, ciao for now, and we'll see you at the next game.